Embakasi as he visited affected families of the Embakasi gas explosion. Sakaja said all 17 sub-county officials have been given authority to close illegal businesses in the county. He also vowed that the owner of the illegal gas plant that caused the Embakasi explosion would be charged in accordance with the law. The owner of the illegal gas plant surrendered to police Monday and managed a probe into the incident.
Na ningependa kuambia watu wa county, kwa sababu nimeambia sub county admins wote Nairobi mzima, 17 of them, kama kuna biashara kama hii inaendelea kwako na hujasema, wewe pia utajibu. Kote Nairobi we know where such operations should be. List imepatikana leo na zifunga zote ambazo ziko kwa maestri za watu.
The owner and 3 others were arraigned in court yesterday, where the police are seeking 21 days to detain them as they complete investigations. Now, the victims of the Embakasi fire tragedy caused by the gas explosion have narrated the circumstances of the incident. They include some of the families that are camping at the Embakasi Community Hall.
Mimi naitwa Lydia Wanja. Hiyo siku venye kuli happen, mimi nilikuwa hapo kwa kazi. Nilikuwa hapo karibu nilikuwa na hoteli. Sasa ndio tuliambiwa gasi ina leak. Ndio sasa tukaanza kukimbia. Venye tulikimbia ndio nilichomekea kwa barabara. Lakini nilichomekewa na kila kitu kwa nyumba, kwa kazi. Hakuna kitu nilibakiza.
Mimi kwa majina naitwa Charles Waita. Mimi ninakaa karibu mahali hiyo kitu ililipuka. Huyo ni jirani yangu. Na hiyo siku wakati tuliambiwa gazi ina leak, tukajaribu kutoka kwa manyumba. Sababu moto ilikuwa inakuja kwa manyumba mahali tunakaa. Tukakimbia. Sasa tulikuwa tunachomekea kwa barabara kama tunakimbia.
Niko na watoto 3. Narara hapa kwa horo. Sina mbele wala nyuma. Niko hiyo hivyo tu. Na niko peke yangu. I'm a single mother. I'm the way I am.
Pole sana mami.
Speaking, ODM leader Raila Odinga urged the government to compensate the victims of the tragedy with 500,000 shillings each.
Hiyo nitawezesha watu kwenda kuanza maisha mapya. 500,000 for each and every family. Na hiyo sio kitu kubwa sana. Hiyo itasaidia. Mimi naambia Bwana Ruto, wewe mwenyewe ni rais, angalia hii maneno, hakikisha kwamba kila jamii hapa imepata shilingi 1,500. Alafu hao jamaa, kwa sababu manyumba zao zimechomeka, zile affordable houses ambazo ziko tayari wapelekwe pale.
Controversial cult leader Paul Mackenzie and 29 other accused persons have been charged with the murder of 191 children whose bodies were exhumed from Shakahola forest. They all denied the charges before the Malindi High Court Judge, Lady Justice Mugure Thande. One suspect, Evan Syria, was found mentally unstable to stand trial as it suffered a stroke while still in custody. The ODPP, however, opposed the release of the suspect on bond terms. Now, talks between the Council of Governors and the National Treasury over revenue sharing have once again hit a dead end. COG chairperson Anwar Guru says the talks, which had last week ended in a stalemate, have borne no fruitful agreement, even as they agreed to form a task team to further deliberate to achieve consensus on the amount to be shared between the 2 levels of government. The COG chair noted that while they came up with a figure of 439.5 billion shillings as equitable share of the counties and 10.52 billion shillings as road maintenance levy fund, the National Treasury proposed 391 billion shillings and the CRA proposed 398.14 billion shillings. Now, on a latest note, an Iranian believed to be the country's oldest woman died at the age of 125 now. Musume Sanei Toroge was born on September 23, 1898 in the northeastern city of Mashhad, according to Iranian State TV, which published a photo of her identity card. Now, at 125, she was older when she died than French woman Jeanne Calment, officially considered to be world's oldest person ever, who died in 1997 at the age of 122. Question is, what's the secret? This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Arseto. Good morning.
.5 SpiceFM Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
Now, I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's petty, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change a nation.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you are willing to be milked dry.
Hapo.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's a land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
The man who looks at a beautiful girl and doesn't talk to her will end up serving lunch at her wedding.
Aya, City, do like that. My father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man?
Ameua panya.
Small mammal, big mammal.
Mtu atamshinda.
What are we comparison? I mean, you kill a mouse.
What are they saying? What they're saying is, my father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man? Name, surprise. Someone's name.
The name surprised you?
No, the name is surprise.
No, what am I saying? I'm from Nigeria, man. I met somebody called I Believe. So
See?
Your name is I Believe? Yes, my name is I Believe. But that's the short form. I said, excuse me? I said, yes, my name is I Believe. So what's the full name? I believe in the goodness of the
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning, in the middle of the week, and I don't think we'll have too much of an issue like we did yesterday, but you know, that's all a fingers crossed and knock on wood kind of thing. Let's see what happens as we get into Wednesday. Most of the streets are looking pretty good this morning. Coming off of Thika Superhighway, I think you'll be fine for now getting into the CBD. We're not seeing much of a hold up, but then, you know, 6:30 comes around and things just go boom. So let's see what happens as we get through it. If you're coming on Kiambu Road this morning, you're also good for now. Coming off of Jago Road, also traffic is moving freely as you get towards the City Stadium roundabout and then on towards Kamkunji. And then as you come out of Westlands, you're okay as well. Looks like we're starting off Wednesday not too badly. Hopefully we can keep it this way. Let's talk and see how the morning progresses on Spice FM KE on X. Hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Good morning at 10 minutes after 6 o'clock. How are you doing? Is it 10? Is it 9? Either way, it's after 6 o'clock and we're coming into the new morning. Hopefully everybody is doing well today. So kicking it on the what? Today's the what? Today's the 7th of February.
It is the 7th of February.
It is the 7th of February. Good morning to you. Hope everybody's doing well. Getting into the middle of the week, Wednesday. Here we are. And getting into conversations for today. But first of all, CT, looking resplendent in green this morning.
Yes, I am.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, in green.
You're very well in green.
Well, you mentioned the green, so since I'm well and I'm wearing it, man, this light is a bit blurry.
Yeah, it's doing the thing, eh? Okay. Don't worry, it shall be fixed. Eric Latif is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am okay.
Fantastic. Good.
Tuseme tu okay, hiyo mambo ingine tuachane nayo.
Nataka kujua hiyo ingine ni gani?
Hata mimi sijui.
Ujui nini?
Hiyo ingine.
You're feeling like this. Comme ci, comme ça.
Yeah.
Comme ci, comme ça.
Yeah. We were discussing it with City earlier and with a settle now.
Yeah.
It's like maybe it's the heat. It's just doing a number on you.
Frying your brain, perhaps?
Yeah.
No, you're feeling tired and there's no reason why you should be tired.
Some level of fatigue that's just,
descending. Yes, and overtaking. You clearly are not suffering from that fatigue. You're looking sprightly and chirpy.
Leo ni ile siku Nigeria inafanya ile kitu.
Oh. Who are they playing with?
The Bafanas.
And if they lose, what happens?
Home.
Excuse me, that is not an option.
All right, since I don't know, Bafana South Africa, I am going to support South Africa for purpose of the conversation.
Let's divert this conversation just a little bit.
Why?
Your girl swallowed a fishbone last night. My friend, I saw the pearly gates. I knew it was done. I did everything that was doable.
Okay, let's start. So you are what you eat.
Okay. Is this why you're chirpy this morning? Because you feel you have a second chance?
Yes. I've been given another lease.
There's a renewed lease.
Eric, we should eat more fish.
So what happened?
I was eating fish happily.
Lunch, dinner?
Dinner.
Okay.
Not talking. I was just
eating fish.
Slowly, I could not breathe. I said, Ndu, what's going on? I had a conversation with myself. Chick, how far? Chick said, Omo, things are thick. We have swallowed bono. Do what you need to do. Cough. What? I said, okay. And I wasn't eating anything else.
Where were you feeling it?
Right here. And the thing is, had lodged this way.
Your throat?
Yes.
So you're just feeling it now piercing both sides?
You can't breathe, so you can't even cough it out properly.
It was this way.
It's blocked.
It was this way. And then the scary thing was that I was now tasting blood. And I was like, this thing now has cut my throat. So I went and I took a piece of bread. I rolled it up because I was just eating the fish and the veg.
You got the right idea.
I rolled up a massive piece of bread. I swallowed it. I put it in my mouth.
What were you eating the fish with?
Veg.
Vegetable. I know, Eric, you think fish is a vegetable, but...
Si samaki ni mboga. So ulikuwa unakula samaki na nini?
Si vegetables.
Si ugali?
No,
okay,
no,
sawa. Yeah, tumekuelewa.
Okay. So you now got
bread, because there was no garlic to swallow the bone with.
That's right.
No. Swallowed the first one. Omo, this thing did not move. What? Swallowed. Now, the problem was the bread that I had put now in my throat.
It has gotten unstuck also.
Oh
was
my
too
goodness.
big. So the passage now has become even smaller.
Oh my God.
Nancy there is losing her mind to knock me on the back. I was like, now you're making it worse even. So I sat there for a minute. I said, Ndu, now think. I've not left a will. I have not done what the things. I've not climbed Mount Everest.
But really, you could breathe. It's just that now your mind has decided.
Of course, my mind has locked down everything else because I was panicking. So because that is what now I couldn't breathe about. So Nancy said, okay, let's try one more time with this bread. The bread is here. So she said, you need to...
add another one.
No, you need to swallow. Because now my mind had locked. She said, you need to swallow the one that is in your throat.
Yes.
And push it down. Because now your eyes are bugging. just swallow that one. So I sat for a minute, and I now swallowed this lump that was in my throat, and
it went to the bone.
It went. It was crazy.
Okay. So now, it's gone. Where is it now?
The bone. I don't care. It's not in my throat, man. It could be cutting up something else. Is that what you're saying?
So at the point of coming out, if it does the same thing.
Oh, wow.
What do you do?
So the stomach acid
I think
disintegrate the thing.
What I think is you'll have problems breathing.
You guys are laughing now because the danger. You guys are laughing now because the danger is no longer clear and present. Where?
Pole sana.
Oh, it's okay. But you know the thing is,
yeah,
I can't stop eating fish. I'm a river girl, so you know.
Yeah. So what you need to do is stop eating fish with veg.
Don't eat fish with fish.
Kula fish with something solid.
First of all, ugali, like the brown variety of ugali, would have sorted that thing out quick, sharp.
Oh, God.
Kula fish.
Like in Pole.
Santi Sana. What? We would have been singing a different song this morning. But here we are.
No, don't worry.
Pole.
To the glory of God.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Pole. Welcome back.
To the land of the living.
Sheesh. Yeah.
So for you, when you ask you, is it a good morning? You say, good morning.
Yeah.
Hiya. Have you said what we'll be discussing today?
No.
Okay, let me say. At 7 a.m., we'll be joined by political analyst Herman Manyora. We will talk all these politics of IEBC. Are we getting the priorities right and the things that we are doing? And then at 8 a.m., the transition to the new UHC programs and what it means. The chairman of the Health Committee in the National Assembly, who's also the MP for Endebess, Dr. Robert Pukose, joins us. Where is Endebess? In which county is Endebess?
Endebess is those sides of Mount Elgon, Wasingishu, those sides.
Mount Elgon, Wasingishu.
Those are the general.
Okay, I know I don't know
Busia.
much. But I don't think
Busia.
that Mount Elgon.
No,
and
throw in Bungoma, those areas.
Okay.
Mount Elgon, those sides. Yes.
Even Khartoum.
No. It's western, northwestern Kenya.
You can go as far as you want.
I mean.
Sawa, it's in Trans Nzoia County.
See, told you.
Mount Elgon, uko.
See, I got the general vague, broad locality, right?
Can even say Kigali.
And the best.
And the best.
It would be a nice place to visit.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And the best.
Sindio?
It just sounds like crispy, cool mornings.
Unapitia Kaplombe. Unaenda and the best. Yeah? It's a very good place to go. I think we should go there.
I think so.
Yeah. And that other place where people are finya in computer, what's it called? Taptengele.
Tap.
Taptengele. Na finya computer.
Pesa inaingia.
Dola. Nasema pesa mtu anaanza fikiri ni Uganda shilling. Dola inaingia kwa mfuko. Haya, let's do like that. 18 minutes after 6, you know what you need to do. We are live streaming the show on YouTube and Facebook. How is the stream now, by the way, people? It's been sorted? The zhu of sound is now no more complaints. Hiya. Ndu, tell us about the weather forecast.
Yes, sirree.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with SpiceFM.
Warm morning in Nairobi, 17 degrees. We'll see highs of 27. It's clear at 14 in Nakuru with highs of 27, and we'll see highs of 26 in a clear Nyeri at 11. 12 degrees and mostly cloudy in Eldoret, highs of 25. And Mombasa is cloudy at 27. We'll see highs of 32. Malindi will go to highs of 33. It's partly cloudy this morning at 28, while Kisumu is cloudy at 19. We'll see highs of 30. Kakamega at 17 is partly cloudy with highs of 31 and lows of 16. It's a clear morning in Kampala with highs of 29 through Wednesday, and Dar es Salaam will see highs of 33. It's currently cloudy at 27. Johannesburg is clear at 17 with highs of 31, and Mogadishu will see highs of 32, where it's partly sunny at 26. Addis Ababa is clear at 11. It'll go to highs of 24, and we're looking in into a hazy Lagos at 23 with highs of 35. It's partly cloudy at 24 in Kinshasa with highs of 33. And we're looking into a sunny Beijing on Wednesday afternoon at 1 degree, highs of 6 and lows of -7. It's raining in Paris this morning at 11. We'll see highs of just 12. And London is 5 and cloudy, going to highs of 8 and lows of 4. Clear skies in New York Tuesday night, coming into Wednesday, highs of 6 and lows of -1.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Like that.
Joel Adondi says good morning. Good morning, CT, Ndu, and Eric. It's always a pleasure to join you from Kansas. As always, I'm looking forward to an objective show. Well, good morning to you, Joel. Karibu sana. Desmond Ortiz says, Ndu, inakwana lafia kalo. Inakwana is Hausa. He's also asked, Ekaro, Etisheo, that is Yoruba. I've answered, Abi. CT.
Abi.
I've answered in Hausa and Yoruba. If you had asked me in Igbo, then I would have answered, but he didn't. He just asked in Hausa and Yoruba. Ask me one day how many languages I speak. Moving on. Siti Oyaore. Eric Ejoka.
Ejoka, whatever.
Okay.
You're Giturkana.
Just say Jokan.
Just answer.
Jokan is sour.
Okay. There's a political wrangle in our Luland. CT, can we endorse you as our next leader, even though you hate politics?
I hate politics. I just understand it.
Okay. Don Sabo says, Eric, CT Ndu Edna, the Central Bank of Kenya has done that thing and increased the base lending rate. Good morning. Hey. James Wangi says, good morning. Keep it up. Evans and Tabo says, good morning, CT Ndu Eric. Be blessed. You too, brother. Good morning from Nairobi, says Pan-African Nation. Tuned in from Yala is where Dev is and says, good morning. Chris Adede says, good morning, Eric Ndu CT. Tuned in from Utawala, listening to the best breakfast show in Kenya. Joe Mungai says, good morning from Bonnie Lake. Mourning the loss of my sister Veronica Wanjiko yesterday from a long and painful battle with breast cancer. So sorry to hear this, Joe. Condolences, and may she really rest in peace.
Yes, indeed.
Deno Mwanza says, good morning, CT Eric Ndutundi from Kikuyu. Leban Sialo is following from Pennsylvania. Tunafinya fina computer hapa. Okay. So Alex Mnai says, good morning, my peeps. Locked already. Philip Tanu is also listening in. Wish you the best. Good morning, Eric Ndusiti. Any updates on the rains? Which rain? You want it to rain?
The rains.
Let it rain. Okay, it will rain, don't worry. Nelson Nyeri says, good morning from Peterborough in the UK. Robert Mbogo is tuning from Mombasa. Jeffrey Mogaka, good morning, CT Eric Ndu and Edna. Wave. In love, yes. Nico Hapa ready for an insightful show now. Penda Santisana. PK says, good morning. Do like that. Eric, it's going to become a thing. You should actually do t-shirts that say do like that.
Do like that.
Do like that.
Very good.
Sami Ledanya says, good morning. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Eric Kituko is also tuning from Doha. David Njenga is here. Sir George Gashoiri says, good morning, everybody. Locked in on the way to London from Manchester. Eliud Kibe says, good morning, listening from Beijing. Paul Jehia says, CT's t-shirt, it's not a t-shirt, CT's shirt color can be described as peacock green.
Peacock green.
Peacock green.
Okay.
Georgia Koff says, good morning, my peeps. Greetings to Ndu, Eric, CT, Edna, and Yego. Wave at the people. Watching you live from Miami in Florida. The Kikombe says, hello guys. Happy Wednesday listening. Good morning to you, Jane Kinaro. Rose Grace says, good morning from Tamu. Hey, CT from Tamu specifically. That's where she is.
Who?
Rose Grace.
That's nice.
Tindo. John Burrow says, good morning. Polly Eric for being under the weather. Are you under the weather?
The weather is everywhere.
It's over you.
It's all over me.
It's actually very warm.
It is.
It's hot.
Annoyingly so.
This is El Nino.
Yeah. Man.
Hey, there's so many people online this morning. Dr. Venvik, Travel with Fred, Patrick Abras, Willis Koi, Wairima, good morning, sister from San Francisco. Wangi is here, James is here as well, Nero and Abdullah, everybody, good morning and Karibu.
Hiya. City.
Yes, please.
We're still in the Republic of
Namibia.
Yes.
Okay.
In Namibia.
A stranger has big eyes but sees nothing.
A stranger has big eyes but sees nothing.
Yes.
That's cryptic. A stranger
has big eyes but sees nothing.
Huh, okay. Okay. Tutajua tu in the course of the day. Haya.
It'll come to us.
Headlines.
On the front page of the Standard, where the buck stops, 6 Kenyans have lost their lives and hundreds others injured in an accident that could have could have been avoided. Yesterday, the government paraded suspects associated with illegal gas business, but left out senior government officials who are responsible for regulating such enterprises. Why, oh why would you do such a thing? Okay, we'll look into details of that story. Everybody's talking. Cheer, Sakaja, Kipto, Liban, everybody has something to say. Raila calls for compensation of fire victims, and the TSC and the Teachers Union are having a bit of a kerfuffle, and they're saying, we're not going to do this. Why Chebukati's name is causing political ripples. Interest rate to prop the shilling. So what he's done, according to the CBK governor, is that, he's raised the base lending rate in order to prop up the shilling. That's what he's saying. Now, you think that you're on edge. Senegal is even on more edge because they've said, polls, voting, let's push this a little bit because we can't do it now.
We're not ready.
We're not ready.
Okay.
On the front page of The Nation, taking on Raila. There's a thing. Turf wars. Apparently, there are turf wars in Azimio. Somebody wants to then be named the kingpin. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Deadlock as governors demand 59 billion shillings more for counties. Oh, my days. 391 billion is the Treasury offer. 450 billion is the governor's push. Don't play with us. Female-only nursing jobs that have attracted men. That's okay. Okay. Teachers to snub the TSC forum because KNUT rejects the bid to change the law and vows to skip the forum. Let's see how you'll do this thing without us, is what they've said.
Very, very good. Very, very good. The Business Daily has this headline: CBK hits borrowers with the highest loan rate in 12 years. The central bank raised the borrowing costs to highs last seen nearly 12 years ago as it moved to contain stubborn inflation and pull a handbrake on the free fall of the Kenya shilling. The banking sector regulator yesterday increased its base lending rate by 50 basis points, 5%. 0.5%, from 12.5% to 13%, a level last witnessed in the sunset years of Kibaki's administration. The decision effectively gives commercial banks the signal to increase their own lending rate, setting up borrowers for a new era of expensive loans. Expect a letter from your bank if you have a loan with the bank telling you, by the way, sasa tulikuwa natulipa shilingi mbili, ongeza ingine. Can have to rent out highway stations to hotels and private developers. The state is eyeing new revenues from the proposed roadside stations along highways that will offer services such as restrooms, accommodation, parking, and restaurants for thousands of long-distance road users across the country. So this is what Kenya has done. It's published proposed laws where it's suggesting a raft of changes to private developers who will be setting up and operating the stations. There was a court order a couple of years ago that compelled the minister in charge of transport to come up with policies on how there are going to be toilets along major highways. So this is one of those that's addressing that. Ticker headlines: Kakuzi's directors to face fraud charges separately. Treasury uphill task to raise 2.2 trillion shillings by June. 2.2. In the first 6 months of the year, they collected 1.4 trillion. That's July to December. Now, between January and June, they should do 2.226 trillion. So that they bridge that budget gap shortfall. Bwana Buga.
Yes, please.
Tuambie mambo iko vipi pale kweche. Uko nayo star? Ama star iko? Patia city star. Top right corner. Intil Green.
Yes, battle with leukemia. Journey through her shadows. Father's sad tale of daughter's cancer. Story on page 10. A young lady who has leukemia. Okay. Then story continues. Housing levy. MPs in rush to pass new law this month. Okay. Wonder which law is this?
Housing.
All right.
The affordable housing bill.
Yes. Halwale. Defamation. Halwale wants tycoon arrested for claims on farmer's death. Remember the story? Oh, this guy just didn't die. Oh, the bull didn't just kill him. Oh, senator's name comes up. Remember that story? Right. Intimidation. Mungiki charges plot to kill Agikuyu culture, court told. This is on page 21.
Okay.
And the plot thickens. And bang in the middle of the paper, tightening news. Illegal levies, holiday tuition banned in proposed radical changes. But these things have been banned before.
Illegal what?
Levies, holiday tuition, banned.
So the new TSC bill, amendment bill, is now wants to put that thing in as a sweetener. Holiday tuition banned.
We are going to become the legislative capital of the planet because, man, we are legislating everything.
The bird we break the law.
Just wait and see. There'll be so many, you won't be sure which one. Anyway, to watch it too. TSC reins in teachers with tough sanctions. Proposed law prohibits learners from going to teachers' houses for whatsoever reasons. Subtly written whatever. None what I did whatsoever. Then, in the pictorial aspect of the star, Raila consoles Embakasi gas explosion victims as plant owner arraigned. This is a picture of Raila in Mradi. He tours yesterday. Then there's a gentleman called Derek Kimathi, owner of the gas plant. The blast occurred. The headline in the Standard is the one which, in my mind, makes sense. Fine. We understand he owned the plant. Who allowed him to own that plant there? I mean, it can't be that every time this thing happens, the people who are actually responsible for this whole mess are mentioned, and then that's the end of that story.
Yep.
If he was not given the license, he would not have been operating, would he? If he wasn't operating...
Let's say he was not given the license.
Yes.
Okay. But he was operating.
You know, the story would be very different, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Then now you could arraign him in court nicely. Because this is a man who just disobeyed the law. Now on top of that, he'd be responsible for the deaths of those people. But this one, shared responsibility.
Sana. Bigre.
Aisuru.
Hiya. It's 27 minutes to 7. Tell us about traffic. And remind us about EcoBank and why it's Pan-African Bank and why it's big.
Which one do you want me to do first?
Start with the EcoBank.
Okay, so 35 different African countries out of 50-something, so majority of the countries have this bank, isn't it? 14,000 employees globally, and also looking at presence in 4 other countries outside of Africa, and saying, you know what? Seamless transactions can be a thing. You can operate in one country and bank in another and make sure that all your transactions are seamless, making it a better business situation for you, whether it's a personal or business transactions. EcoBank is making sure that this year we are better, a better you, a better Africa, and throwing its support behind the Africa Cup of Nations as taking place right now in Côte d'Ivoire, and saying we can be better here, we can be better in sport, we can all come together and we'll be better Africa.
All right.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Around 6:30, this is where we see traffic build up here and there. Let's take a look at the Thika Superhighway right now, because that was a trouble spot earlier on, but it doesn't look like too much happening right around there. For now, at least. We're going to get into the city without too much of an issue. Coming out past the Pangani underpass is where you'll see most of it right now. And just because it's smaller, that's where you'll see vehicles load up. Out of Westlands, it doesn't look bad either. It's flowing. And on Jogo Road, getting out towards Kamkunji at the roundabout, it's fine. It looks like today will be an easier morning because yesterday was absolute drama. We're going to keep an eye on that, whatever the case may be. Kangunda Road has some traffic just coming past Mamalusi and then touching on Outer Ring. Eyes on things? Let's go. SpiceFM KE on X, #TheSituationRoom.
mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4.
The question is, where does the buck stop? The picture there is of 4 individuals who've been arraigned in court. Mariam Kyoko, David Ongare, Joseph Macau, and Derek Kimathi were presented at the Milimani Law Court yesterday in relation to the Embakasi gas explosions. And the questions that are arising is that what happens to government officials who are in charge of this, of overseeing? And then there's some statements from certain individuals. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, as the city planners, as the city's planner, the governor's order on LPG traders yesterday came a little bit too late. That this directive, I'll give the details, should have come earlier. Daniel Kipto, who's the director of IPRA, says the law requires IPRA to work with other agencies in bringing to book illegal operators. And the question is, where have they been all this time?
The other agencies or IPRA
itself. Davis Chirchir, who is the Cabinet Secretary, Energy and Petroleum, in guaranteeing that the trade in LPG is safe, the buck actually does stop with the CS. Mohammed Liban, who is the Petroleum PS, says, as it says here, as the accounting officer, Liban is responsible for ensuring dealers play by the rules. So all of these individuals, whether they're in a position of oversight, by virtue of them being in that particular office or that position, had a big task to do a long time ago. Officials to blame over city gas explosion. So this story is carried on page 2 and 3 of the Standard. But on page 3, Kenyans rated Davis Chirchir, the Cabinet Secretary for Energy and Petroleum, as the worst performing CS last year. They then cited the high cost of fuel and frequent electricity outages. His ranking may have sunk further following last Thursday's gas explosion at Embakasi's Mradi area that caused death and about 300 Kenyans admitted to different city hospitals with injuries. The survey that was done by the Trends and Insights for Africa on the performance of President Ruto's government, Chirchir was rated as the least performing CS with a score of 19%. In guaranteeing that the trade in petroleum products, including cooking gas, which are highly flammable and recognize the security risk, the buck stops with the CS for energy and petroleum. The Embakasi LPG storage and refilling plant has severally come under scrutiny and flagged by security agencies as well as officials within the State Department of Petroleum, and should have piqued the interest of the CS, but it appeared not to. The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, IPRA, said on 3 occasions it had refused to issue a license to operate a gas storage and refilling plant on account that the area was densely populated. So they saw this danger previously. The owners of the plant would go ahead and disregard IPRA's instructions and set up the plant anyway, and that now has destroyed lives. The owners are not strangers to controversy, apparently, having been convicted of operating a gas refilling plant illegally in a case that was lodged in court in 2020 and concluded last year. So this is not their first run in the rodeo. Petroleum industry players last week made known their disagreement with how the case was handled, noting a fine of 500,000 shillings was akin to a slap on the wrist. And they're saying that, this story is just lending to the public creed that individuals who have the responsibility for regulation, oversight, and for essentially laying down the law are not getting any kind of flack whatsoever. But it seems that there are folks on the lower side of the totem pole who are now the sacrificial lamb.
Yep. There's that responsibility, and I agree, it must be demanded of them. So if we don't do that, then we are not going to fix the system.
Nope.
Because it's a matter of fixing the system. If the people at the top don't feel the heat, then they have absolutely no motivation to ensure that the system works as it should. Because that's what should happen. The system must work as it should. Yesterday, Sakaja was on the ground and he said the people who authorized this thing to happen, the people who gave licenses, the people who are going to go home. Those are, all right, middle-level officers.
What happens?
Yeah.
What happens? Because you still have...
Why are they going to go home? No. If indeed what they did contravenes the law or it goes against any known statutes that are supposed to protect the citizen, then these are not people who should go home. These are people who should face the law. This going home thing, no. That's a slap on the wrist. Let them stay exactly where they are so that they can actually face the law as they should. No. Because if we follow this thing to its logical conclusion, then Sakaja should also go home. Because he is, after all, the ultimate boss of the county.
We should get to that level, by the way. We should get to that level. We should get to the level where it rises to the highest point. What did you know when?
Yes.
All right? So if we follow it up the chain, what did you know when? At what point were you aware of this thing happening? What questions did you ask? Did you ask the relevant questions? If you didn't, then okay.
You're to blame.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the things... You've read that story about the jobs in Saudi Arabia. The Ministry of Health recently made that advert saying we have secured jobs for nurses in Saudi Arabia and we are asking people to apply. And they even announced the portal for people to apply. Okay? 2,500 job opportunities for nurses secured by the Kenyan government in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have attracted only 1,000 applicants. There are 2,500 opportunities. Only 1,000 applicants have submitted so far. But 500 of those 1,000 applicants are men. The positions are exclusively for women. Are we together so far? After weeding out male applicants, the remaining 2,000 slots are expected to be filled by the end of the month following deployment of 500 females who qualified. The job openings were announced in July last year via the National Employment Authority. In the deal, hired fresh graduates will receive a monthly salary of 150,000 shillings, with experienced nurses earning more through negotiations. The packages include accommodation, health cover, food, leave days as per international labour laws. Labour and Social Protection CS Florence Bore emphasised the need for Kenyans seeking employment abroad to secure passports on time, citing challenges in filing job orders due to the delays in obtaining the crucial documents. She highlighted ongoing effort to sign bilateral labour agreements with 19 countries. So here's the thing though, okay? 2,500 opportunities for Kenyan nurses to go and work in Saudi Arabia with a minimum pay of 150 plus accommodation, plus health cover, plus leave days, plus all these things. But we've only received 1,000 applicants since June last year. Is this because Kenyans are not aware of it? Is it, why would it be so?
People don't want to take up these jobs.
Yeah. I think there's no awareness. And even out of that 1,500 are male applicants.
For female-only jobs?
For female-only jobs. I think there's a lot of awareness that's not being created by the two ministries, the Ministry of Labour and the Ministry of Health.
And the communication that's coming through is improper. It's not complete.
It's not complete.
Yeah.
It's because I do not think that a trained nurse who qualifies for this job looks at a job that's going to pay her 150,000 shillings as entry-level salary. A qualified, more experienced nurse can negotiate for a higher pay, and they don't apply. I do not see.
I don't see it either. I don't see a situation like that if they knew that this is what it was, because those are some of the things. First of all, you're qualified, and now here you have an opportunity where higher qualification equals higher pay.
Yep.
You're not going to just leave something like that because you already have what it takes to do the job, and it's almost guaranteed that should you then apply,
should you qualify, you'll get it.
Yeah.
There are 2,500 slots.
Something is amiss, and they ought to ask themselves, what's their communication channel? Was it clear, first of all, and the information that they're given within that? Because you know what's going to happen is that they're going to say, well, you see, Kama government, we gave people jobs and they did not take them.
We have nurses who are supposed to be going to the UK, they don't know English. We have nurses who are supposed to be going to Saudi Arabia, they're not applying for jobs.
Then you'll come here and castigate us tomorrow. No, I think also the communication needs to be very clear in terms of what exactly is going on.
The other question, though, is if one of the requirements for applying for this job is a passport, and we know what's happening at the immigration, could that also be playing a role in this? That many people would like to apply for these jobs, but they don't have a passport. a valid passport. They have placed their application for passport. They have not received the application for passport. What is the National Employment Authority doing to aid these applicants?
Because that should be part of the process.
Mm.
Yeah. You can't say you provided it on one side, but then end to end, the other side that you would actually need to complete it.
Yep.
You also are the vanguard of that process. I don't just walk into the supermarket and say, can I have a passport? No, I have to.
Who enacted the shortlist? National Employment Authority? Ministry of Labour?
Yes.
Okay, precisely.
Yeah.
Now, if you've already shortlisted, immigration, is that not government?
Yes.
Are you telling us that it is not possible for them to say these people have qualified to go to Saudi and we would like to have their passports fast-tracked? How difficult can that be?
I don't know. I can see Hiram is saying nurses are skilled professionals. Very few would take the risk of going to Saudi Arabia. All they hear especially is restriction on women's rights. Really? Kenyan nurses? Kenyans?
No, I don't think so.
That is not going to be a hindrance.
No way.
No, I don't think so.
No way.
Why is it that
women hear about the conditions in Saudi Arabia, especially for those low-level jobs in domestic work, and they still apply.
They still
have you seen the numbers dwindling?
Today,
No.
I keep saying.
And remember, that's not the only profession that is in Saudi Arabia. There are tens of thousands of Kenyans in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East.
There are very many.
Yeah, I do not think it's because of the stories of how people are treated. This is a professional job. You're getting a professional package. You're employed by the government. You're not employed by a domestic employer.
And your government also knows about that employment.
Yes.
Everything is detailed, and it arises from an understanding your government has that other government.
Yes.
But then here comes the twist. Remember, there was a time when we had an interesting scenario where people were applying for similar jobs in the UK.
Yep.
There were more people applying for jobs than there were jobs.
Yep.
So how is it that this time around?
This time we have
Yes. And
less
Saudi
than
is just here. It's just round the corner.
Less than half.
How?
And the requirement here is not the good English that of exam.
No, it's not
just
good English.
apply.
Just apply.
There's something missing.
You know, one of the things about this country that you can be certain of, whenever something that seems obvious suddenly becomes not very obvious, there's a little more than what would ordinarily meet the eye.
Yeah. Tell us a story, City.
I was looking for a story in yesterday's papers because I found it particularly engaging. The story was how it is that authority that deals with what are those people called? Guards.
Security.
Yeah.
Okay.
How there were people who had already been fined because they did not adhere the norms that were set. And I was asking myself a question.
Allah?
Yeah. I meant to read it yesterday, but somehow we got overtaken by events. There is a storm brewing here because the Ministry of Labour seems to want to put a lid on something they think they have control over. And one Mr. Fazul, who heads that particular authority, seems to have a very tight rein on that entire process. Anyway, let it unfold. Let me get the story around to tell you. This is malaria. That one was just a by the way.
Okay.
How government is fighting itself. By the way. Yes. Malaria vaccine tested in Kilifi, highly effective, show results. Okay? This is a story about a vaccine for malaria that is being tested in Kilifi. Why Kilifi? Because prevalence rate of malaria in Kilifi is really one of the highest in the country. Now, it may not be known to many people, but children under 5 years of age are usually most vulnerable to malaria. And 80% of the deaths caused that come about for children under the age of 5, you will find is actually caused by malaria. All right? Now, this particular testing, this particular research was for children aged between 5 and 17. Okay? It's a multi-site study, meaning it's a study that is in Burkina Faso, Mali, Tanzania, and of course, Kenya.
Okay.
Right? But the Kenyan tests, the Kenyan study so far shows that the vaccine is 78% effective. What they call its efficacy is 78%. Now that's a good thing. It means of the people who may receive the vaccine, 78% of them are likely to actually find that the vaccine has protected them. It is a good percentage. I thought I should mention this. Now remember, when we had coronavirus, many Kenyans may not know this, but among the sites where vaccines were being tested and even was Kilifi, okay?
Yep.
Nairobi has many sites. The headquarters of KEMRI is in Nairobi. The headquarters also was a vaccination site, but also it was a place where these vaccines were also being tested. Now, there's a lot that happens in the research world that is not made public, but this is one of those wonderful things that are happening. Now, it's among very many other things that are happening in the medical research world under KEMRI.
Good thing.
I think so.
Very good thing.
Yes.
So, teachers' unions have decided, not on our watch, it can never be us. They've rejected the bid to change the law and vowed to skip the TSC forum. Teachers' Union has rejected the proposed amendment to the Teacher Service Commission Act of 2012, arguing that the changes are unfavourable and punitive. So, KNUT has said that the TSC did not involve them in the formulation of the bill. The union has vowed to boycott a public participation exercise organised by TSC, and that was scheduled to take place none other than today at the Kenya School of Government. KNUT Secretary General Collins Oyu said 60% of the draft bill is harmful for teachers. So why would we go if we're going to sign a thing that, harms us? We have decided not to attend the stakeholders forum organised by the TSC tomorrow to address the TSC Amendment Bill 2024. We won't let them exploit us. We won't tolerate being scolded anymore, he told journalists at the union's headquarters in Nairobi. He revealed that the union had received a letter from TSC last week, Tuesday, outlining the proposed amendments to the TSC Act. He explained that the draft bill proposes a restructuring of the basic education system, suggesting that it should comprise primary, junior schools, senior secondary, and teachers training institutions, leaving out early education development and education. Early childhood development and education. The envisaged reforms capture basic education as encompassing PP1 to grade 9 and terming them comprehensive school, then senior secondary. We know that basic education starts from ECDE. He said one notable proposal that they've outlined in the TSC's intention to determine the remuneration of teachers without involving the unions and seeking advice from the SRC. He said this violates Article 230 of the Constitution, which emphasizes the need for consultation and engagement with the relevant stakeholders. And in case you're wondering who relevant stakeholders are us, the unions.
Teachers.
So how do you go and do all of those things without involving us? You're violating the Constitution.
But they've been invited and they're refusing to go.
You said you've already amended it. Now we're coming to discuss what you've already amended, according to you.
Surely they are being invited to discuss the proposed amendment bill. It's a proposed amendment bill. That's why it's TSC that's doing it. They are championing it.
He says.
And then it shall go to Parliament. There will be another round of public participation. Unless you is talking about something else.
He's talking about the things that have already been put there. And he says what it is that it is an affront to teachers, first of all. There are certain things that have already been put there. And so he's wondering, how are we coming to discuss something that you people have already suggested?
See, they draft theirs then.
He said that the TSC's proposal to discipline teachers without being bound by strict rules of evidence, as envisioned by Article 50 of the Constitution on the right to a fair hearing, raised issues about the potential misuse of disciplinary powers.
Very good point. Now, take it to that forum so that you say, remove this thing. You see, if you don't participate in that public participation, then you're participating in it on this other side. Sikuji kwa hiyo nyumba, sikuji kukuambia nini mbaya na hiyo nyumba yako, lakini hiyo nyumba yako haina dirisha, lakini sikuji kukuambia.
Right.
It's crazy. So today they said it can never be us.
We are not going to participate in this.
It can never be us.
Okay. I think there's like we talked about it yesterday, it's a game, it's a battle here between the ministry and the commission. And the teachers union is picking a side.
And they've picked the side of the
ministry.
Yeah,
we're not going to support you in your union thing. It's either that, or if they're saying we do not want to participate at all, they're saying we're not going to be partisan. If we come, it appears that we are supporting it. If we don't come, it'll appear like we're not supporting it. But either way, at least we're not
and we must give
playing that game. Yeah. Okay. There's a chama in Meru that's setting standards for the community.
Is it?
Yes. 120 members' effort toward investment and social responsibility is transforming the region. This story is in The Nation. It says, over the years, investment groups commonly known as chamas have become synonymous with women. That is why a men's self-help group in Igembe Central, Meru County, has set tongues wagging among community members who were surprised to see a group of men meeting at a church compound and announcing formation of a chama. For more than 5 years, the men, who were mostly in their 50s and 60s, used to meet at the local shopping center to socialize, to play ajua. As they played, they talked about problems that they were facing in the society, including alcohol, drug addiction, youth unemployment, poverty, domestic violence. They were concerned about what's happening in the society. So Stephen Kaberia, the group's chairman, says last year he brought up the idea of coming together to address these challenges. He says when the women heard that the men were gathering with the intention of forming a chama, they were like, he says people claimed we were meeting to strategize on how to upstage women, saying our plans were sinister. This was because we also did not allow women to join us, Kabere said in an interview at their base stage at a stage called Kwanjiro in Adhiru, Gaiti Ward. After registering Kwanjilo Men's Self Group in March last year, they started saving 200 bob weekly for each member. Since then, there is no limit of savings. By the end of the year, they had 800,000 in their account. They have rules. Members are not allowed to attend meetings while drunk. You cannot vote a bangi.
In the meeting or before? Sorry.
Do not attend the meeting while intoxicated by either pombe or bangi. Hatujataja miraa, unajua? Hatujataja miraa. And they work with chiefs and members of Nyumba Kumi initiative to enforce the rules. Those who break, they are fined 500 bob, and they run the risk of being kicked out of the group. The current membership, 120 members and counting, as young men also join them. Members of the community have appreciated that their role is far much bigger than that of a women's group. We wanted to make a statement, so on December 20th last year, we withdrew the money and shared it out according to each member's savings. Some of us went home with 100,000. We hosted a party for men, and it was thrilling. Our members bought Christmas gifts for their wives and paid school fees for their children. The message was home. Now everybody was like, haya, mzee amekuja na pesa ya chama. December is usually the other way around.
Now here we are.
Mzee amekuja na pesa ya chama. Big thing. Big thing. I've got a minute. Let me just tell you this other story. Kenha, the state is eyeing new revenue from the proposed roadside stations along highways that will offer services such as restrooms, accommodation, parking, and catering for thousands of road users. Kenha is published proposed laws in which it is suggesting a raft of charges for private developers who will be setting up and operating these stations. So basically they're saying, along the highway, we will issue licenses and we'll invite private developers. Come set up a facility. This facility will have toilet, will have restrooms, will have maybe accommodation, will have maybe petrol station and service stations, and that will then encourage motorists to be stopping along the road. It's like the way we have highway motels. So it's basically saying, let's establish a rule like that encourages pit stops and highway motels.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. There's one that's coming up in Makueni County. It's a truck stop. It's by Superior Homes. It's a similar idea. Petrol station, looking at encouraging trucks and truck drivers, stop, fuel. You have a service station that can do basic servicing, including tire repair, and you also have accommodation, and the accommodation is affordable but good conditions. You have restaurants clean, as well and everything.
I think it's what needs to happen. If you look at the stories that come about from truck stops over the years, crazy.
It needs to happen a lot along the highways. 7 a.m. Time for the news.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. The highly contested housing levy could make a comeback in the next 2 weeks as the Joint National Assembly Committees of Housing and Finance rush to finish public participation on the Affordable Housing Bill 2023 that seeks to legalize the tax, according to Housing Committee Chair John Ngeno. They intend to finish the debate on the bill next week and forward it to President William Ruto for assent. The committee said it will consider all opinions that were given during public participation to make the bill agreeable to all stakeholders.
One example is somebody who is working for as a bus driver and earning over 30,000 or 50,000, and yet there is a watchman who is formally employed, earning 15,000 and is being levied vis-a-vis that one who is, all those issues were raised by the public, and I believe that we're going to look into all of them so that we also balance. We had a law which was done through finance bill and which became an act of parliament, of course, that any money collected for this or towards housing should only be used, and it was a shall only be used in housing and nothing else. That law is still in place, has not been suspended. So we want to enhance it, and we are going to enhance it in this particular bill that we are proposing now.
Meanwhile, National Lands Commission Chairperson Gashin Otachi has warned of a possible ownership conflict between the national government and county governments over land acquired to construct affordable houses. While making submissions to the Joint National Assembly Committee of Housing and Finance, Otachi revealed that there are serious gaps in the acquisition of county-owned land. Otachi says it was unfortunate that the Commission was not involved in the drafting of the Affordable Housing Bill 2023, yet land is a key proponent in the project. Appearing before the National Assembly Committee, Otachi regretted that the Commission was not involved in the drafting of the Affordable Housing Bill.
What happens when you have county government land that has been reserved for affordable housing, but this fund that is being set up is actually a national government fund? How is it that the national government fund is going to be used to put up housing on county government land, and how would that relationship be managed? Of course, it's still public land. We were not involved as such in terms of the drafting of the bill. It seems to me that it was focusing more on the financing aspect rather than the land aspect. But if it's of the view of the committee that the land aspect will be dealt with, it may make sense to have some sort of clarity.
And Dr. Magare Gikenya has filed a case in court against the Ministry of Education's move to order students' fees to be paid through e-Citizen. Gikenya argued that it's against the law as the government has no powers to implement such orders without involving other stakeholders.
Kuna wanafunzi wengine mawazazi wako very rural, hawezi pata e-Citizen ama mobile digital money ndio walipe, which is unfair kwa wanafunzi. And also ukiangalia wana charge hizo wanaita convenience fee ya 50 bob na bila wananchi kuwa involved ama what they call public participation.
And as the recruitment of 15,000 volunteer servicemen and women to join the NYS continues, most youth in Thika, Kiambu County turned up for the exercise at Thika Stadium. They underwent through vetting with their academic documents and bodies scrutinized, with 3 of them being turned away for having tattoos on their bodies.
Kwa nimekuja hapa Thika Stadium ku recruit NYS, but nikapata matarajio si vile nilitarajia. Nimepata niko na tattoo, na hiyo tattoo ndio imetuma nitolewe nje. Nikaambia siwezi endelea juu ya hiyo nilijichora nikiwa high school. Hiyo time ilikuwa ungeona nikaa big deal, but sasa ndio mtu anasoma yenyewe vile mzazi alikuwa anasema ndio inakuja sasa. Na lakini ningeomba tu adikani mtu tu ako hapo nje anajua experience kuzitoa. Naweza shukuru sana akanifikia tu
Now, the spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, expressed concern that the laws in the country are soft on drug peddlers, drug barons, brewers of illicit brews and sellers of second-generation brews. Speaking during a clergy meeting in Kabete, Kiambu County, Pastor Dorcas said the law is very lenient to the murderers of our children. She vowed to push against the tide of addictions through the campaign she initiated last year dubbed the Boy Child Program, with both preventive and curative programs. She also challenged the church to speak out against the vices working against the welfare of Kenyans, especially the youth. And Kenya Power has announced that 10 counties are set to experience power interruptions today. The utility firm said the interruptions will occur at diverse times of the day. Counties to be affected include Nairobi, Machakos, Kajiado, Nakuru, Siaya, Vihiga, Kisumu, Nyeri, Kirinyaga and Kiambu. You're being requested to plan yourself accordingly. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
Good morning, a few minutes after 7, and what's happening on the streets this morning? It's heavy on the Thika Superhighway, coming in through from, where is this? Past the Outer Ring Junction, even before, ahead of that, in from Kasarani, just opposite Safari Park, getting out through to Garden City. It's busy this morning. Also looking at movement coming in from Cabanas going towards North Airport Road, then touching on Outer Ring. That's busy as well. Gong Road, extremely busy for this hour, but there's a bit of a hold-up as you're coming in from the racecourse and then out towards the CBD. So we're going to keep an eye on things as they open up this morning. Where are you? Hopefully you're not stuck. Let's talk if you are. Or we find a good route. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
7. How are you doing? Welcome to the second hour of The Situation Room. Happy Wednesday. It's the 7th of February, 2024. Valentine's is coming. It's going to be exactly a week from today. It's next week on Wednesday. And what are we doing?
Let me tell you what you'll be doing at 6 p.m. You'll be heading down to the Sario City because there's Elegance in Love, a cocktail dinner that's taking place. And so you wonder, how do I manifest my love language? Well, then you get down to this dinner, and that is how you can actually do it. You're going to dress up, and then you're going to show up, and then you're going to throw down. There will be food. There will be music. It'll be great. You will buy tickets at www.ticketsasa.com. If you go as a single regular, you will pay 3,000 shillings.
Regular ni size ya mtu ama...
Oh, if it's like you're ordering a coffee, you can have a regular or a large, I don't know. You will pay 3,000 shillings. If you go as a regular couple, you will pay 5,500 shillings. So
you're given discount?
Yeah, like if you fight once a day kind of thing. Now, if you just have drama and pizzazz and you're a VIP couple, you pay 10,000 shillings.
That's for the razzmatazz.
Exactly. And you will then you'll get a welcome drink for the folks on the VIP table. You'll be seated in great style. You will have a bottle of something also to, aid your experience. There'll be live performances. It'll be fantastic. You will celebrate love. You will also dress in burgundy and red. Please see our resident color palette, CT Muga, if you do not know what burgundy is. Burgundy and gold is what I meant to say. Burgundy and gold. You do not know gold, I think you have more problems than we can imagine. But burgundy, CT can help you.
Okay.
Elegance in Love, 14th February, ticketsasa.com. Buy your tickets. Let's do this.
Kabisa kabisa. And every VIP couple will receive a gift. That's not a flower. gift. Okay? Hiya. Our next guest is Herman Manyora. We haven't had him here this year, but now here he is. Happy New Year, Herman.
Happy New Year.
How you doing?
Taking a break from media.
Why?
Just taking a break.
Why?
Arrest is, what is it? Arrest is what? Is as good as a, something is what?
No.
Something like
Arrest
that.
is as good as a break.
yeah, whatever.
That thing.
Yeah. Good.
So how is it feeling?
Oh, feeling great.
Are you feeling broken or rested?
Well, great, just great.
Okay.
Feeling good.
Karibu sana.
Yeah, thank you.
Karibu sana. Edna will bring you a bottle of water shortly. That's Keringet water. Natural mineral water. You know Keringet
water.
You know Keringet.
Keringet is for the rich. We are ordinary people.
My friend. That is
why.
why they say own your richness. Everybody in Kenya is rich with Keringet.
So. No.
Okay?
Now I agree with you.
Own your richness. You know why?
Keringet, then.
Because Keringet comes from the rock. Kenya's own earth. It is filtered through Kenya's own rich rocks. It's infused with Kenya's own rich minerals. It is then bottled at source. Hakuna mambo impurities, maji ya mtaro, sijui watoto walikuwa naoga.
No wonder it's good, eh?
My friend.
Good.
My friend. Now you know.
And
So,
now we know. Now we know.
Very good. City will welcome you with the day's proverb. This week, the man is in Namibia.
We are honoring the passing away of their president, a great friend of this country. Yes, and the relationship between Kenya and Namibia has been fast and has been strong for very, very many years. Yes, the continent has lost a great leader. A stranger has big eyes but sees nothing.
A stranger has big eyes but sees nothing. Think, Herman. Think.
Hapo kwa big eyes.
Koma hapo. What do you think it means?
I have no idea. City should tell us.
A stranger has big eyes.
Big eyes, but sees nothing.
But sees nothing.
I think basically meaning would be that if you are new somewhere, you can't know what's going on there until it takes a little while to understand.
Spot on.
Thank you.
Ndio.
Spot on.
Eh?
Spot on.
Very good. Very good.
Unajua ukiingia kwenyewe haifai uwe mjuaji.
No matter your ujuaji.
Yes, you cannot know. It's like some foreigner coming to advise us how we should live in this country.
It's true. My people say the chicken that enters the yard stays on one leg for a day.
On one leg.
Jogoo la shamba, jimbi la shamba.
Ndio hivyo.
And the government says nobody should go and advise them about anything in Rwanda.
You know, when somebody offers advice, the understanding is that there's something they know or they comprehend that you have shown signs you do not. So they're aiding you. That is often welcome, but it is a lot more useful if you're aiding someone when you have a great understanding.
Correct.
Of where it is they're coming from, the circumstances, and who they are. Then the assistance makes a lot of sense.
Context opens those big eyes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, Manyora.
Yes.
A lot's happening in this country, politically and all, eh?
A lot.
I
don't even know. I want to hear from you.
A lot. There's a lot. There's taking on Raila.
I don't read papers. I don't watch news.
You just took a complete break from.
But I can recharge.
Yeah?
I can recharge. I can reboot the system.
This is you now rebooting.
Yes, now
starting
I'm
from
rebooting
here.
This studio today.
Okay. Now somebody has gone to court and said that there are many Kenyans in various parts of the country who do not have a representative for their ward, do not have a representative, and they participated in the 2022 election, but for one reason or another, that seat has fallen vacant. And the seat has not been refilled to date, despite there being a clear path towards refilling those seats, constitutionally and in law, the Elections Act and others. And the judge looked at that and said, yeah, true. there's a violation of the rights of these people. Now, I understand that there is some political conversation that's been taking place in the name of national dialogue, but that national dialogue, as far as I sit here and I look at the law, is not anchored in any law. So I direct that an IEBC selection panel immediately commences the work of filling the position of IEBC commissioners so that they can be appointed, so that then they can hold an election, the by-elections in these areas. It is so ordered. Politicians are up in arms. They're like,
it is so ordered.
This judiciary does not understand that we are actually in the middle of a conversation on how to have that selection panel.
It's tricky.
What's the trick?
Because the judge is looking at the law and perhaps in isolation and makes a ruling or gives an order. Yeah. And it's up to politicians to see what to do. Unless you are saying the judge should have been more sensitive to the situation on the ground. But I want to say this before you go there.
Yeah.
I think, one of the defining characteristics of a poor person is wastage. And it applies to poor countries. We waste money all the time. Why do we have to do by-elections? Why? And you spend millions and millions of shillings. Last time I checked, a single by-election in a constituent, I think, was costing about 40 million, many years ago. That wasn't even 10 years ago.
40 million?
40 million, under the old constitution. More than 10 years ago.
One by-election.
40 million
shillings. You can imagine what it is today. And all the busybodies running around. And everything coming to a standstill. If you really put the figures down, my friend, you'll be talking past about 200 million shillings on a single by-election. Perhaps a quarter of that, 50 million to elect an MCA. What for? Why can't we have arrangements when, if something happens and a seat falls vacant, there's somebody to fill it?
And who's
this wastage? This wastage.
I think the question then would be, Herman, who is that somebody then? And then because looking at an election in the first place, it is assumed that it is the choice of the people by going to the ballot that selected this individual. Now, for whatever reason, this individual should, fall away. The people not then reserve the right to make another selection of who will be the replacement.
At a higher level in America, for example, and even in Kenya, you elect a president, but if the president disappears from the picture, you don't have to go to an election.
Because there's a vice president.
Yeah. So, but in this case,
there's no vice MCA.
No,
no deputy
it's a question of thinking out
Parliament.
something. We could say maybe the second person. If Manyora gets, MCA Manyora gets 1,800 votes, I beat Muga with a miserable 50 votes. Why can't he become the next
Then
MCA?
give Muga should something happen.
We should take care. It's a question of the principle.
So the number two should be
out.
So like we have a sitting MCA and a standing MCA.
Whichever. We can work out something to avoid wastage of money and the time. But back to your question, I think I don't blame the judge. He was doing his job.
She was doing her job.
She was a girl. She was a lady.
She was
a lady. I didn't know that. I tell you, I don't watch news. So this person was doing their job. Let's not blame them. Let's then use the ruling and move forward. Let us be proactive. Instead of making noise, instead of blaming the judge, let's just move forward and say, what can we do? We don't have time left in terms of, for example, review of boundaries. You can't do it now. What can we do? The reality of NADCO is there with us. The political reality, like I think Muga says, or you, is there. In between all these realities, how can we figure out the way forward? I think that to me is the most important thing.
Herman, what you suggest happens to be a reality in one country that I know of. It's called Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea.
When you elect, you choose, you're given a choice. Who is your number one choice?
Yes.
Who's your number two choice? Who's your number three choice? Okay?
Yes.
So if you want to be an MP, you go around the various wards of the various areas talking to people.
Yes.
When they then tally, they tally the number of number ones you've gotten.
Yes.
If you've gotten the most number ones, then clearly you are the one who is the lead.
Correct.
If there's some sort of a tie, then they go to number two. They count your number twos and look at how many number twos did you garner.
Yes.
Okay? Now, meaning, if, say, for instance, my constituency is Embakasi, okay? And I want to be president, and I'm campaigning, and I know very well that it is Manyora's stronghold. I will not go and tell them, give me number one. I said, yeah, just give me number two. I know Manyora is your person, okay? Yeah. But just give me the number two vote. Yes. Meaning, the option for somebody else to actually get elected or to be in a position of authority is already catered for within that system.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you say correctly, by the time they're going for a rerun, usually you've tied on all these things and you can see the complexity of it.
Yeah.
So the election is then easily justifiable. But not on this one of ours where you could have won with the 20 votes.
Yes.
Now, those 20 votes can be contestable. But then when it comes to matters of the judiciary, this is where now I find our hypocritical nature rearing its head. Judiciary as an entity are the same people who in 2017 said, we're going back to this election, this one didn't make sense.
Yes.
Same judiciary. Same judiciary also said, look, folks, let's be reasonable. These CSs, the law doesn't allow you to have them. Go back and fix it. They were even given a period within which they could fix it. Yes. Did they fix it? No. They were even given an opportunity and say, okay, we allow you to have CSs, but you have this number. What did we go and do? We doubled the number. So all I'm saying is, it's like those who are in political rulership in this country look for ways of going against the very thing that the judiciary or the law states. So when the judiciary stamps their foot and says, look, this is what the law says, our politicians seem to want to give the impression that they're above the law, that whatever the judges say, if they don't agree with it, it can't possibly be right. Now, surely, that is my understanding of it. Is this attitude really correct?
It wouldn't be correct, but again, there's the danger of what people are calling a constitutional crisis. But these are small matters. The problem with this country, people don't want to think. We are lazy when it comes to thinking. These are small matters that can be sorted out one afternoon in a room. Siti, Muga, Lati, and I, and we sit down and with these politicians and we tell them way forward. It's nothing difficult.
So why aren't they doing it?
I don't know.
It can't be laziness.
It's mental laziness.
No, it is.
It's laziness.
It is.
I'm telling you.
Apathy is laziness. I mean,
even this IBC thing, it's just laziness. Why are they talking about IBC? Why is Raila, for example, talking about IBC and Ruto and everybody? It's just laziness. IBC is a small cog in the whole mess. You need to fix the electoral system. Then IBC is a small thing that comes at the tail end of the fixing of the electoral problem.
What's wrong with the electoral system? What's wrong?
It doesn't produce the results people would expect and desire and deserve. That's all.
What do you mean?
That's why we're always fighting after every 5 years and wasting time and money and resources and life and property.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It is. I think it's only in 2002, in recent years, that an election was not found to be unfair.
What election are you talking about? A presidential election?
There's only one election in this country. How many elections?
There are 6 elections.
There's only one election. These others are flower girls escorting the president. This country has only one election. And if you fix it, everything's okay. We've never had a proper election. And the only time we didn't have problems was 2002, and then it is because of the overwhelming nature of the victory of NAC and the mood in the country, euphoria and everything you want to call it. But all these others, from the time we restarted it in 1992, have had issues with them. And these are the presidential points. So
what is wrong there?
It is the whole electoral system.
What?
The entire electoral system is an infrastructure. To deliver a president, you need an electoral infrastructure.
Okay.
IBC is a small aspect of that at the operational level. So it does not matter to me who becomes a commissioner. So I'm very amused, sometimes even annoyed that seasoned politicians like Ella would be putting premium on who is a commissioner.
I'm sorry, but you're using buzzwords.
Why?
The whole electoral system has a problem.
Yes.
What is the problem? is the problem in identification of voters, in who saying who votes? Is a problem in voting? Is a problem in counting? Is a problem in declaration of where is the problem?
Let me give you in a nutshell.
Yes.
The problem is that the results of elections in this country do not reflect the will of the people of this country.
How do we know that?
We know it because we live in this country and we see it, and we have it on authority. What did Judge Kriegler tell us? We have it on authority. What did the Supreme Court tell us in 2017? We have it on authority, my friend. It's not guesswork. We have it on authority, in black and white.
So why does it not reflect the so-called?
That's what I'm saying.
will of
Therefore,
the
we need to
people?
go and sit down as Kenyans and ask ourselves, why is this electoral system not delivering to us?
How would we be able to know if the system was delivering the results that would then be reflection of the will of the people? What would we see? How would we then say, yes, actually, the results of this particular election actually shows the will of the people? How
we
would
would
we
see
know?
the loser conceding defeat.
Okay.
So it depends on the attitude of the loser.
The loser is not an individual.
Okay.
It is a country.
Yeah, it depends on the attitude of that loser.
If you stand on top of KICC, whatever you call it, you'll be able to see the country and you can read the mood of the country. You can take the pulse of the country. Every time an election is announced of the president, and you can tell there's something wrong. Even before it gets to the Supreme Court, you can know. And in fact, Latif, have you ever bothered to find out why the framers of the Constitution said we could sort out an electoral dispute in 14 days? Have you ever thought about it? So when I see some people who say they are learned, saying we need to extend 14 days, I think they don't understand. They miss the point. The point is you can have a bird's view of what has taken place during an election. It can't be a contestation in a court in the normal manner when you can't determine a parliamentary contest in a court, a dispute, in 2 months. How can you determine a presidential one in 14 days? It means it is expected that if you live in this country, Latif, you can have a bird's view of the situation. You can know this election was not conducted well. That's what 14 days means.
That's what Ndu is asking you. How can you tell? For example, apart from the one that you've quoted, the 2002, and you have said the reason why many people were okay with the result outcome in 2002 was because of the overwhelming nature of the support for one candidate. All right? One of those candidates. Since 1992, has there been any election apart from the 2002 one where you can say that there has been an overwhelming support of a single candidate, where then you would know that, this is the candidate with the most overwhelming support, but this is not the candidate who's been declared?
It is not overwhelming in the sense of knack, but you can get a sense, you can get a feeling of where the country is headed, the direction the country is taking.
You know, all right. The question I'm asking, let me just ask again, CT, before you come in. Would you say that, all right, let's even go into 2013, 2017, 2022, that there is an election where the candidates who've gone into that election, any of them, you could look, press the pulse of the country and all, and say that this candidate has 52% of the electorate?
You can have a feeling of who won the election.
I'm asking.
Even then, you can have a feeling of who won the election. But that is now. Let me explain.
Is there any of those three elections?
You can have a feeling, but you see, that's a very subjective one because of the 52%. You know, there's something we are talking about is 60 plus. 52% is something subjective, and this is how now the Supreme Court comes in. When you go through the Supreme Court, it removes all doubt now. Even before they tell us their verdict, having listened to the presentations in court, it should confirm to you who won the election. So they can say something that is contrary to what people know to be the truth. But back to why IBC to me is a small bit, we need to look at, for example, let me just give you practical reasons why I think IBC should come last. We need to start by looking and asking ourselves, even at that lower level of just managing an election, we ask ourselves, do you need a full-time commission? How come countries with millions, hundreds and hundreds of millions of voters, where a Kenyan politician, the Kenyan population is not enough to provide election officials in India? The entire population of Kenya is less than the number of people required to run an election in India. Okay? How come they could have 3 commissioners? And how come they may not even be full-time? And why? What is the role of IBC Commission vis-a-vis the Secretariat? Those are issues to ask. Secondly, why would an election be managed from Nairobi? And the law itself states that voting takes place at the polling station and ends there. Why are we not reading from that? Why don't we find a way of decentralizing the management of elections to county and even ward level? Okay? So when you begin to interrogate yourself, then you now get perhaps to the point of, okay, fine, we have now the structures, election has been decentralized, commissioners are part-time, there are fewer than 9. Okay, so what is the next point? Okay, we are now voting. What does Muga do when is it Siaya or whatever it is? Those are now the details you can get to. Yeah, later.
Are we saying an electoral system is a voting system?
I've clarified. I've said at the end now, when you get now to the voting, how do you manage the voting?
There's a reason why I asked the question, and I'm in agreement with your response. Is this, Eric asked the question, have we had any time outside 2002 where it was patently clear that a certain candidate won? And you spoke of a bird's eye view. I think the crafters of our constitution sought to set this straight when they said the election begins and ends at the polling station.
Correct.
All right? Now, why did we have a problem in 2007 and 2008? Something very strange happened. The individual who was supposed to have lost the election had more MPs, had more... Put it this way, the elected leaders within the party of that individual were more, significantly more. So the question that was then being asked was, is it actually possible for people to have gone to the ballot and elected all these elected officials and failed to vote for the flag bearer of this particular party? It was a question that has never fully been answered, but it raised questions. Now, in my mind, it is a significant question. And then there was the question of those who actually voted, and there were issues of votes. Now, the one question that is never addressed in this country is the one of the server. Never. It is talked about, it is asked, and yet that ought to be the most transparent, because that is where all the elections, all the votes, everything is nestled. So if someone says yes, here it is.
But to see Timuga, what is the point of the server? The server is neither here nor there. Where is the server in this the whole mass? I've been scratching my head to find out the role of the server.
The reason why
elections take place
at the polling station.
At the polling station, and it ends
not
there.
on a server.
Yeah, not on a server.
The reason why the server becomes a subject of debate is because it is where
Nyungu.
Nyungu, yes.
Nyungu.
Yes, it is where everything else is nestled.
Why is it going there? That's for records only.
Yeah.
Yes, but the records are a reference point, are they not?
No. City, the record.
You don't declare even a winner from the south.
No,
the record is the warehouse that has the physical ballots.
Look, the server is our electoral system electronic.
No, it's not.
When results are relayed to the tallying center, is it physically or electronic?
Physical.
Both. It's both.
Which tallying center?
That's just
the national tallying center.
Tallying, what are you? That is just, look here, let me say, City Muga. I want you to help politicians in this country, please. Tell the politicians elections take place at the polling station.
Period.
The president is declared at the polling station. Period.
Tallying.
You know,
that's why I'm saying, and listen to me carefully, let us not bother who becomes a commissioner. After all, they will be bribed if there's bribing, and they will be relevant. Many of the people Raila has complained against were put there by Raila. He defended them. He put them there, but they turned against him, including his own people. So let's not depend on the people at the top there. Let us decentralize our electoral system. Let us have people with a say at the county level, at the ward level, at the management level. Now we go to the polling station. Now you have, this is what I got. This is what Latif got.
But that's what we
Nobody
have.
can change it.
But that's what we have, Manyora.
Nobody can change it.
And
why is it not working?
The election that is declared by the returning officer.
It is not working, Latif, listen. Yeah. It is not working because we've created this myth about bombers.
Is it a myth, really?
Yes. It's not supposed to be there.
What do you mean? That
it's nothing.
That people must come. This myth that you're talking about is that individuals, everybody, must now come and congregate at Bomas, and now Bomas is the validation for this one-day exercise. And you're saying that it doesn't need to actually happen.
Let me give you a good example.
Is that what you're saying here?
Let me give you a good example. In America, I want to give you a good example. Okay. In America, people vote. Mm-hmm. And after they vote, somebody concedes. And somebody even gives an acceptance speech. Mm-hmm. Have they gotten to the Bomas yet? Do you know when they will get to Bomas, my friend? Find out. When do they get Bomas? City Muga. I'm talking to you. You must be a good student.
No, they do not.
When Biden was declared winner and he gave that moving speech of Obama, had he been declared the president by the system? Had they gone to Bomas?
No.
You see, Latif, have they gone to Bomas?
No.
Not yet.
They do not have Bomas.
A whole month or so ahead, even 2 months.
They
have Bomas.
Let's take a break.
They have Bomas.
Let's take a break. We're 6 minutes late for this break. It's 24 minutes to 8. Herman Manyora is our guest. He's been off the media for a while. He's coming out of that hibernation now. And he's coming out guns blazing with all very manner of things. Tell him about EcoBank.
He's off the reservation now. He's back.
Pan-African Bank is called EcoBank, and it has out of how many ever African countries there are, 35 of them have an EcoBank, and it also has 4 branches in other parts of the world, 14,000 employees, making transactions seamless from country to country and making your banking experience one that says you're a better you as well as being a better Africa. They've also thrown the support behind the CAF Africa Cup of Nations that's taking place, and there's a match today. Don't you? You do know this. I'm telling you what you know, Herman.
Okay.
And we also
Herman doesn't watch TV.
We also know the winner of that match today, and we will celebrate tomorrow.
We already know this.
Yes, we do.
Oh, wonderful.
So, even before Bomas, we know, and EcoBank has thrown their support behind this great sporting event, as it does, bringing African nations together in banking. It's also throwing its support behind African nations in sport. EcoBank, a better you, a better Africa.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Unright, 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
15 degrees in Nairobi, we'll see highs of 25 and we'll see highs of 27 in a partly sunny Nakuru at 15. It's 12 degrees and sunny in Nyeri with highs of 26 and we'll see highs of 25 in a cloudy Eldoret at 14. It's partly sunny at 28 in Mombasa and 28 and partly sunny in Malindi. 19 and sunny in Kisumu, going to highs of 30 and we'll see highs of 31. In a mostly cloudy Kakamega currently at 16. Into Kampala, it's sunny at 19 and Dar es Salaam is mostly sunny at 28. We're looking at sunny conditions at 18 in Johannesburg and 27 and sunny in Mogadishu. 12 degrees and sunny in Addis Ababa, while Lagos is hazy at 22. Kinshasa is cloudy at 24.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. Spice FM.
Spice up your life.
All right, it's busy in the city this morning. Coming off the Thika Superhighway, not as crazy as it was yesterday, but we are looking at some traffic then coming in beyond the GSU headquarters and then out towards the Outer Ring Junction. So there's a hold up there. Your service lanes will help until you get to Pangani Tunnel, we know that. Coming out of Westlands, it's moving until you get to the junction just at the Westlands Mall. Gong Road also pretty busy this morning, coming in from Racecourse. Hold up as you get to the lights. Lights is why you see that hold up there. And also on North Airport Road going towards the Outer Ring Junction, coming in from the Eastern Bypass. Movement here and there, but you see a few hold ups, but you'll get out of them. Let's talk just in case things do get sticky. SpiceFM KE on X. Hashtag The Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Herman Manyora, okay, we're talking about elections. It says we are focusing too much on the IEBC and not on the system. And you're also talking about there's the need to decentralize this whole thing.
Correct.
But I'd put it to you, Herman, it's actually decentralized. Like you've said, election happens at the polling station. And for you to challenge what the returning officer has declared as the win, that is where you now go to court. To challenge what the returning... So the returning officer is the boss of that election at the polling station. The constituency is actually where the election is declared for MCA, for MP, even for president.
But is that our practice?
That's what happens.
What are you saying exactly?
In this country.
Yes.
So the returning officer, the constituency returning officer is the boss of the election in that. When the constituency returning officer says, in these wards, these are the MCAs who've been elected, I now declare, and they issue certificates.
Yes.
The constituency returning officer says, this is the MP.
Yes.
The county returning officer says, this is the governor, the woman rep, the senator. Ends. The constituency returning officer says, this is the presidential election result in this constituency.
Yes.
Ends. What the guys at Bomas are doing, they're only relaying to us because we were not in that constituency. They're relaying to the country. This is what the constituency returning officer in Endebess said as the result for the presidential election. Yes.
Yeah.
They don't come and say, but we have now counted. No.
Yes.
So Bomas
where is the problem?
Bomas is just...
So where is the problem?
A podium.
Why was somebody declaring Bomas a scene of crime?
Because the claim here... and
all the fuss is about Bomas, you know that.
And that is what City was saying, that in that transmission of what has been declared by the constituency returning officer as the result of the presidential election, when it happens online and happens physically, that's where issues come up. But I ask, are they really issues that are coming up, or is it the political protagonists creating issues?
You see, we have created Bomas as a superhuman being to tell us what has taken place. And I've talked to you about America. And I've told you, by the time they get to Bomas, somebody is already president. The only thing that has not happened, they have not been sworn in. But they are already president. They have been president. Everything about them, they are president. You get what I'm saying? Let us get our president without Bomas. Let Bomas just be the formality that Congress engages in declaring or actually confirming who won the presidency. I don't think in American history that has been overturned. I'm not so sure that one day their Bomas has overturned what people knew to be true. Even just exit polls already indicate Muga has won the presidency and Manyora concedes to him. That's what I'm trying to say we do.
And
let us get to have our president long before we get to Bomas, so that Bomas becomes a mere formality. Congress confirming.
And for me, I say the problem is not the system.
Yeah, it is the system.
No, the problem is the candidates, the politicians.
No, why?
Because just like we've said, if there's no contestation of any of the 290 returning officers, if the 290 returning officers, just like would be in America and elsewhere, if the 290 have said this is the person who's won the presidential election in this constituency, right?
Why do we even wait for them to say? They don't. We don't. By the time the constituency person does that Form 34B or whatever it is called, B or C, we already have our president. The loser has already conceded. That's what I'm trying to allude to. And in order to aid that, let us decentralize.
What is this? Why is the loser conceding before the returning officer declares the?
Why should he wait? Do they wait in America for the returning officer?
Which returning officer?
No,
yes, they do.
They don't.
At the local level, they do.
No, what are you talking about?
You know,
which American elections do you watch?
But
which one do you watch yourself?
Those local, the local election, election, a winner is declared. The result is announced.
You have a bias when discussing the American electoral system, and you forget.
Yes,
it's a little more complex than we're making it.
Big one.
Is that big?
Yes, it's a little more complex.
Yes.
Because you have something called an electoral college.
Yes.
In my mind, I don't probably understand it well. It's a pre-rigged system because you are not president by a popular vote in America. Not really.
Correct.
Atumepigiwa kura. We've had people who've won the popular vote.
Clinton did by 3 million.
Oh, yes. 3 million is many people. Yeah. Then you go to the electoral vote and something happens. Yet they have a safeguard. If the electoral college doesn't declare you, then you go to Congress. They decide. Now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that is their system. Okay? However it looks, whatever it looks to us is their system. It seems to have worked for them over time.
Yes.
Now, with our system, we thought we had fixed it. And if you look at everything, we had actually fixed it. Meaning, everything ends at the polling station. Tumemalizana na hiyo kitu done.
Muga, that's what I'm saying.
That we then twisted
Whether
it.
the Americans elect through an electoral system where you need to get 270 or
Whatever
not
it is.
is not the issue. The issue is you do not arrive at that 270 without people voting.
Okay.
It is people who vote to give you the 270.
I think maybe one thing is...
The raw figures do not declare you president, but those raw figures are what gives you 270 to become the US president. So what I'm saying is, if we decentralize our management, let's say we decentralize IEBC, and then we begin to create a tradition where everything actually is recognized as starting and ending with the polling station.
So we focus on the polling station as opposed to Bomas.
Including our media. Look at the role the media plays in America. Including our media. Including local election agents. Including the systems, the people we create as we decentralize. Who give validity and the force of validity to that vote. So that it is known long before somebody in Bomas or even at constituency says anything. We know Latif has won the presidency of the Republic of Kenya, and she concedes and congratulates you. That's what I'm talking about.
But this is the thing, and that's why we are saying, and I think the one thing that is comparable here between Kenya and the US, that is comparable, because I think there's so many other things that we cannot draw parallels with. I think the one thing that we are seeking for is that the system is dependable. And that it has been accepted from time immemorial that it is upon this system that we will operate. The federal system that they use it banks on the trust that people have that this will actually be. So no matter how aggrieved you are, no matter how sour you are over a loss, you will accept it because you are sure that the system is in place. Unfortunately, and I think we all have to admit that where we see all of this agitation is because there is an element of control that is lost when you do not have a say in the folks who are going to oversee the system. And I think that is the problem.
And that's
that
what
we are
I'm
facing
fixing.
right
That's what
now.
I want us to fix by decentralizing.
Why should, it doesn't matter whatever side of the political that you are on, why should we have in these individuals, it doesn't matter if we're talking about the side that is the ruling majority. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about the opposition. Why should we have people who have a vested interest in the outcome of this competition, because that's what it is, then decide who the referees will be?
Very good question. And that is where the problem is.
The referees.
I put it to, it's not the referee. It is the politician. The problem with our election is not the IEBC, is not the way we structured it. It is that politician. The politician who is playing in this match has created this feeling among their followers that we don't trust this. If it doesn't go our way, we don't trust it. If it goes our way, we trust it. And vice versa. If you're on the other side, we trust it, we don't trust it. And these are the politicians at the national level. Because the politicians...
We render them irrelevant.
At the ward level...
We render them irrelevant.
At the ward level, going by the number of petitions that were filed after the election, the politicians at the ward level are okay.
Ward and county.
That's what I'm saying.
Those who lose at ward level are
That's what
okay.
I'm saying,
Those who lose at constituency level are okay. Those who lose at governor level are okay. Our problem.
You see,
William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta,
That's
Raila
what I'm
Odinga,
saying.
Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, those are the ones.
And now, Latif.
Now, if those ones developed within themselves,
they don't have
culture.
No, we don't have to. We force it on them.
Yes.
Structurally.
If they had a culture,
we get the structure to force
of accepting.
They will, once we make
the
it
will of
possible.
The people. And the will of the people is the will of the people.
I like it a lot if you have said something, which I like. All of us have said something. Yeah? Have you ever had people contesting the election at the polling station? That Muga has 70 votes, Latif has 60, Manyora. Have you had people fighting over it?
Hardly.
It is so obvious.
There was a time.
That's a very rare thing if it happens.
No, it wasn't rare. During the Mlolongo.
Those days.
Yeah, we have moved from
because
that.
It was
I'm
not
not talking about it now.
Because it was not at the polling station.
I'm talking about
the
now.
issues used to be at the tallying station.
One.
Because the distance between polling station and tallying station is where the issues
and you are carrying votes and things of that nature. But
now that the vote does not move out of that cluster.
It doesn't move. It is never in dispute as to how many votes Latif had at the polling station as a presidential candidate.
On that day.
And therefore I'm saying, let's embrace that. Let's make use of that. Let's institutionalize that vote. So that it is that vote we are dealing with and nothing else. So that there's nobody waiting for bombers or even constituency. Kenyans know Ruto got so many votes in Luombe polling station where I come from. And no, it's never in dispute. Let's Kenyans work with these votes now and declare they are president. And let's know this is our president. So we only create a system, an infrastructure that embraces that ideal. And you don't have to wait for bombers or anybody else. Part of going in that direction, walking in that direction, Latif, is what I'm suggesting. We decentralize IEBC or the management of our system, even create structures at the polling center level, okay? So that institutionally, we now own this vote. We give it validity. We give it the force required to determine for Kenyans who their president is without any noise. By moving this vote and getting it on a bus, easy coach, to take it to Nairobi, or putting it in some broad bar, whatever you call
cloud,
inject a cloud, you are creating unnecessary trouble for yourself. Let's just find a way of this vote being what matters. The law says so. Why can't we live with the law, work with the law, and make bombers as irrelevant as we can make
and
it.
I think
so it is a mere formality.
I think one of the ways of getting there, and I just want to ask this, is that we need to remove this human element and I'm not saying remove people from the system. I'm saying remove this element that has been so conditioned, whereby people almost expect that somebody will be involved to sway a decision in one way or another. That when you speak about it today and say, well, this thing will go to the Supreme Court, the initial reaction is that, well, somebody's been bought. Or that when you say votes must travel from tallying to polling, that then we know that it's going to be diverted and thrown into a river somewhere. That is the first thought, because it is hinged on I must win. I mean, we can use examples. There's a match today. Do you think that both sides have spoken to the referee beforehand and said, you know what, we need to play this way? And that's what I'm saying. You cannot have. It is impossible. Then we can very well say that it is impossible that in the last 20 years in Kenya, or in very many other places where the same practice happens, that you've had a free and fair election. Because the referee has been selected by people who are involved in the competition. It is not possible. You can't have that. And that's what I'm saying. You can have systems that work. But so long as those who are guarding over the system are selected by the people who are playing in that arena, you will never have a fair system.
In fact, that's not even very correct. There are many ways of populating an electoral system, an IBC if you wish. By the way, one of the most popular is for political parties.
Now, hold on.
To go our way of 1997.
Herman, let me ask you something.
Yes.
I agree that political parties can...
And this is by scholars.
Hang on. Political parties can be involved in the process.
Yes.
But you must go to the genesis of how these political parties were formed in the first place. If we are going to bank on the original ideology of political parties, that you say political parties were formed for ideology, whereas here in Kenya and very many other places, political parties are a vehicle for political expression. expediency. It's individuals. It's not ideology. So we cannot then come back and say we will use political parties to populate the system.
In this country,
where in Kenya.
That's a lie.
it goes
You
back.
cannot say at UDA has selected so and so. That's Ruto who has selected.
It goes back
ODM has selected. That's Raila who has selected.
Herman joins a party today. CT doesn't like him. Herman goes and forms another party and says, everybody follow me. Come
It goes
on.
back to what I've said, and I think I spelled out clearly. I said, the moment you decentralize IBC, you begin to rely less and less on the individuals in that commission. The moment you define their role vis-a-vis that of the secretariat, you are beginning to move away from the human element in the
We are in agreement completely.
You get what I'm saying?
No, I am not in agreement with Herman at all.
Okay.
You know why?
Yes.
In principle, what he's saying is the ideal that I would wish for.
Yeah.
We had that same thinking when we created the counties. The monster that we have is not what we envisioned. Because we said, let's decentralize this power, let's decentralize resources, let us bring this thing to the people. What have we seen? Yes, there have been changes, yes. But we are very, very, very far from what it is that was envisioned. What we created were demigods who have become very wealthy from the very resources that they were supposed to use for their people. These are their people. Now, this is Kenya. You decentralize IEBC. What are the safeguards that will guarantee that we don't create other demigods in the various places that you're going to have them? So what you're seeing at Bomas will then be replicated.
No.
I am asking
I'm saying that
Once we press the vote.
already this thing is decentralized. Just
It
like
is decentralized.
I have gone and told you, Herman.
Yes.
That returning officer at what was that polling station? What did you call it?
Lumbe. Yes.
Lumbe or Gombe? Luombe.
Yes, Luombe.
That returning officer at Luombe polling station.
Yes.
When they read
presiding officer.
When they read the presiding officer, yes. When they read the result,
it's fine.
That's it. So it's already decentralized.
Yeah.
The only thing is that, administratively, they're
You are
answerable.
waiting for bombers.
Yes.
You have given bombers. I want to say this in the interest of the viewer, not your interest. Because you are not good students, you are slow learners. In the interest of the viewer, you have created a monster called bombers. We must deflect. We must remove bombers from the picture. Okay. So that it is a center that does only formality. We already have it in law, and as you are putting it in practice, that the election is done and declared at the polling station.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We want to put structures in place that will put life into that law and
So
that
what
provision.
would this structure look like?
One of the things I'm saying is to define the role of IEBC vis-a-vis that of the Secretariat.
Okay.
Number one, so that they don't have unnecessary powers. Number two, we decentralize up to the polling center. You get it?
No.
Once you have structures overseeing elections at the county level, IEBC at the county level, at the constituency ward level and the polling center level, you begin to give legitimacy that is now lacking of that vote at Luombe.
That is already happening.
And then
your
remember in
vote at
2013 we
Luombe
made a
polling
mistake.
center.
In 2013 we made a mistake.
Yes.
We forced the media not to declare we were running away from ICC and from 2007. Informed by that background, media were actually warned.
Now you've come to.
They were warned
You've come to a place where I would
not
add-
to declare elections.
If
we need to rewind, go
That's
back
it.
and say, "Oh, that was a mistake."
What we need to do then-
let media be an important and integral partner in the electoral process.
Yes. What we need to do is make sure that the presiding officer at Luombe is heard countrywide.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's
how the
it.
media comes in, and the media cannot go to Luombe when the management is at Bomas and Anniversary Towers. You take the management to Vihiga County at Mbale headquarters, you take it to Hamisi where I come from, then you take it to Gisambai Ward, then you take it to Luombe Polling Center. Now, the media has strength. You see? The media can cough. And this media can also
already
be handled in a collaborative manner so that all media houses can scatter around the country,
expense,
so that what people say...
Nothing bars us from being at Lombe polling center on that election night. Nothing. Apart from
the expense. The expense. That's what I'm saying.
Sawa. Let's go into the news. It's 8 a.m.
Thank you very much.
Ahmad Manyora is our guest.
Spice up your life.
Morning, this is Newsroom. Dennis Aseto. The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops has accused the government of disregarding court orders, saying recent political rhetoric against the judiciary is a recipe for lawlessness and anarchy. In a statement, KCCB chairperson Archbishop Martin Kivuva expressed concern about the state of the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, calling for quick reconstitution of the poll body. He added that IEBC's current state has denied many Kenyans their right to representation, citing cases of pending by-elections, which Kivuva added could precipitate a crisis.
BC kama awapo hatuwezi kuappoint commissioners, so tungependa kwamba ichukuliwe kama jambo dhati, jambo muhimu, jambo la kuwekwa maanani, ili kwamba tusije tukaponyoka tuingie katika hali ya vita ndani kwa ndani. Inawezekana kwa sababu ya kukosa wale referees, the right referees wakati kama uchaguzi.
President William Ruto has in recent months mounted a war against the judicial arm of the government, accusing it of sabotaging his administration's agenda. He even vowed to disregard court orders he says are motivated by judicial impunity. His defense and attacks, which stem from recent court orders, halted projects the Kenya government intends to implement after legal challenges, so Chief Justice Martha Koome warning that Ruto's administration is setting up the country for chaos and anarchy. Now, Motorist Association of Kenya has strongly opposed the introduction of toll fees on major roads in the country. In what the association terms sheer shameless determination by the Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, they said the move amounts to double taxation on an already overtaxed citizenry. According to the association, the simultaneous existence of toll roads and the road maintenance levy amounts to double taxation.
As an association and stakeholders also, we have resolved in our meeting that we are not going to allow our roads to be turned into private roads.
The rate at which things are taking place in this nation is taking driving into another level. Driving will either become a crime or a very expensive affair where the public cannot afford.
You cannot use already existing roads and turn them into private land roads. That is the procedure world over, because that will be unconstitutional. It will impede on the freedom of movement.
The matatu sector has been abused in this country. We are being overtaxed such that if you do some rounds around, you'll find that most of the vehicles are being repossessed by financiers.
And hundreds of residents from Nyeri County took to the streets to protest a court ruling that declared their occupation of a 29-acre piece of land.
Tumekulia hapa, tumezaliwa watoto wetu hapa wamekulia hapa hii msikitini hapa, tunafanya shughuli zote hapa msikitini. Watoto wetu tuangolewa, sisi tuwapeleke wapi?
There is no room for negotiation. And we are ready to pay any price to safeguard our right.
Ours is to look forward to appeal, no negotiation, because this one has been done once or twice, and now we are looking forward to appeal the case, and then we have our rights.
In the ruling, Chuka High Court Justice Lucy Gitari found that the land originally belonged to one Ndegwa Warui, who is now deceased, and that one of his sons, Alfred Warui Ndegwa, had fraudulently transferred ownership of the said land in May 1993 before selling it to different people. Quoting the Succession Act of 2006, Justice Gitari indicated that the current occupants of the land could not have legally bought the estate registered to the deceased, and that even so, they contravened a previous order by developing the parcel under dispute. Now, the Council of Governors has asked the government to suspend the move to have parents pay school fees through e-citizen platform. This after the Ministry of Education directed a mandatory payment of school fees through the platform. COG Education Committee Chairperson Eric Mutai said there should be a proper structure and information for the move to be implemented. Mutai called on the government to be organized when giving out such directives to avoid such disruption of schools. Now, Moi University has prohibited the wearing of Crocs, miniskirts and all forms of plastic shoes within the institution. According to a memo from the Dean of Students dated February 6th, students are expected to follow the rules and regulations that govern conduct and discipline at the university. According to the memo, the draft of new rules was prompted by incidents of indecent dressing among students. Those who do not follow the new rules face disciplinary action and will not be served anywhere within the university. Clothing items that have been banned include micro miniskirts, skin-tight trousers, ragged or ripped jeans, cropped blouses or shirts, low-cut tops, micro shorts and transparent dresses. I'm Dennis Asteta. Good morning.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
All right, on Langata this morning, heading out towards the Nyeri Stadium roundabout, we're looking at some traffic here. On Gong Road, it's actually bits through and through out towards the City Mortuary roundabout as well. On the Thika Superhighway, it's looking a lot better now. We're looking at some traffic coming in from Outer Ring, and it's going to you'll have a hold up all the way from there through towards the Pangani Underpass, out towards the junction, Maranga Road and Wangari Maathai. It's also busy on Limuru Road. Traffic here and there as you get towards that junction of Wangari Maathai and then going out towards Chiromo. That's where we have the hold-ups. Traffic is not too much of a bother this morning, but we're going to keep an eye on things as we usually do. Let's talk on SpiceFM KE on X. Hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room,
Indeed,
the only way to start your day.
Welcome to the third of Kenya's biggest conversation, The Situation Room. We are live on Spice FM, on KTN Home, on YouTube, on Facebook. We live stream the show every morning. We're here from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through to Friday. Our guest host, we have made him a guest host, Herman Manyora. He stays on for this next conversation, and we are going to discuss health and the health situation in the country. We know that we are now in the implementation phase of the universal health coverage after Parliament passed some critical bills, and now they were enacted, they're in law, there's been conversation around it. We're then joined by the chair of the Health Committee of the National Assembly, the Honourable Dr. Robert Pukose. Good morning, Dr.
Good morning.
Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
This is my first time being here, so
yes.
I think I'll give my feelings after.
We will make it comfortable. It's going to be a smooth, comfortable ride on this particular one. As you understand, health is a big thing. And what's happening now in the country with the implementation of universal health coverage, there are very many questions on people's minds. And we'd like to understand, because you did public participation, you went and collected views from the people as you were discussing the various bills. You also discussed the bill. So you understand this thing back to front. And also, are you a medical doctor?
Yes, I'm a medical doctor. I'm a consultant general surgeon, practicing. Yes.
So you've got skin in the game. To welcome you to this conversation, we're going to tell you about a couple of things. Number one, next week, Wednesday, is going to be the 14th of February. The 14th of February globally is known as Valentine's Day. It's the day for expressing love. I'm sure you know about this.
I know that.
Very good. Now let's tell you what we want you to do.
People always ask you, why won't you show me that you love me? And you're always confused. How will we do it? Now, I have the answer for you, so you can see me after. This is the answer. Showing that you love somebody has never been easier. And let me tell you how you're going to get this done. Bring your loved one. That person who is asking you, how will you... Now, all you need to do is bring them to Sarit, your city, on the 14th of February, right? It starts from 6 p.m. It's the Elegance in Love dinner. And it's a night filled with great music. It's fun, it's dance, and so much more. Now, these memories will last a lifetime. By the time you are done, this person will not ask you again, how will I know if you love me? Because you did what? You took them to the Elegance in Love dinner on the 14th. Ticketsasa.com is where you buy your tickets. 3,000 for a single, but in this case, you're not going alone. Regular couple, 5,500 shillings, and then VIP couple pays 10,000 shillings. This is the answer to your problems. You see those problems that are brewing from now until next week, Monday night, Wednesday night, Tuesday night. This is the answer.
This is it.
Sorted for life. And then all you need to do is you make sure you wear burgundy and gold somewhere in there. Throw it in. You will. These problems that you're having now, they're sorted.
boy, child.
Sorted. I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm saying now. This Elegance in Love concert on the dinner
14th.
on the 14th of February. If you follow my instructions
To the letter.
these questions that you're being asked, you will never be asked again. These problems that you're experiencing, you will never experience again. Take them, go, eat, dance, enjoy, and thank me later.
All right, Mheshimiwa, you got that. Now, this man called C.T. Muga, every week he goes to one African country. Then he researches proverbs from that country. He's a researcher. And then he comes and gives us a proverb from that country, one proverb a day. This week, he is in Namibia in honor of the people of Namibia who've been mourning the death of their president. And, C.T., what's the day's proverb?
A stranger has big eyes, but sees nothing.
A stranger has big eyes, but sees nothing. Honorable Pukose, what's your interpretation of this proverb?
A stranger has big eyes but sees nothing. I think I would say that when you are new to a place, you will be able to, you will be surprised by what you see. There will be many things that you are able to see. But some of those things you might not understand what you're seeing.
And you put it so well. So very, very, very well. Thank you. Yes.
Kabisa. Kabisa. Thank you very much for that one. That was sponsored by EcoBank. EcoBank is a Pan-African bank. It's in how many countries again, Ndu?
35.
And it's important to keep
in
asking
Africa.
that
In
question.
Africa,
35 in Africa.
35 in Africa.
Outside.
Outside Africa, it's in China.
It is.
It's in UK.
It is.
It's in France.
It is.
And it's in the Middle East.
Yes, it is. It's also in France.
It's also in France.
Yes.
And
it's-
the UK.
It's in Dubai.
That's in Dubai.
And it's in South Africa.
Mheshimiwa, we are now in that whole conversation of trying to understand this new thing we are calling universal health coverage and the new laws that are in place. You passed 4 of them in Parliament late last year. So now we are seeing a new creature that's been created by this law called the Social Health Authority. Then we are also seeing that what we have known as NHIF for a long time is being phased out, and its place is going to be Social Health Insurance Fund to be managed by this SHA. We're also hearing that now there is going to be money that goes to hospitals and stays in hospitals and does not leave the hospitals, ring fenced for purposes of... There's a lot that's happening. When you passed the laws and you gave 1 year to implement this, did you actually think that 1 year was sufficient to fully roll out universal health coverage with these new structures?
Thank you, Eric. And I'm glad to be here at SpiceFM. Last year, we passed 4 laws One, the social health insurance bill. Two, the primary health care bill, digital health care bill, and the FIF bill. These bills, we didn't say that the implementation will take a period of 1 year. After passing, what we in the transition clause of the Social Health Insurance Act now, that is where we provided for the 1 year for the transition from the from the NHIF to the Social Health Authority. Social Health Authority has 3 funds. It has the Social Health Insurance Fund, it has the Emergency, Critical and Chronic Diseases Fund, and it has a Primary Health Care Fund. All these funds are to be administered at various levels. Facilities are classified on levels where we are talking of at the primary level, where at the village level we are talking of level 1. Then dispensary, we call it level 2. Then a health center is called level 3. Sub-district hospital is called level 4. So when we talk of primary health care fund, this is a fund that is going to be to take care of illnesses and more so prevention at the primary health at the level 1, level 2, and level 3. When we talk about the level 4, 5, 6, that is, you are talking of formerly what we call the district hospital, sub-district hospital, provincial hospitals, which are now the regional hospitals. Then level 6 is the national referral facilities. So this is where you will now use your social health insurance fund. You'll find that there are people who might have chronic illnesses. They might have critical diseases that will take them time to be able to be cured. And therefore, the money for the social health insurance fund might be exhausted. So that is, once you exhaust that, then you can now utilize your chronic, emergency, and critical care. As we speak today, many people might not know, but when you have an NHIF cover, you're also covered for emergency, even evacuation, and the NHIF has entered into contract with the Red Cross and also with the AMREF, that if you need to be evacuated from your village, it should be Red Cross should be able to do it, or AMREF should be able to do it, not at your cost, but because of the contract which they have entered with the NHI. But I think that has never been properly publicized, and people might not have been able to access that service. Now, with the current one, what we're trying to do is to make sure that every Kenyan knows that I have access to emergency care, I have access to critical care, and have access to, if I have a chronic illness, that should be able to be taken care of. As you are aware, right now, many people, even if you are, for example, a kidney disease patient, many kidney disease patients, they both pre-transplant and post-transplant are not covered under the NHIF. In the new scheme, we would want that to be done, so that if somebody opts for kidney transplant, then this person should be able to have access to pre-kidney and post-transplant services and care from the NHIF. So we are actually, what is happening is we are widening it. Then when you look at, so what I wanted to just say in brief is that on the matters of transition, we didn't say 1 year for the implementation. Then when you look at these bills, you said about the FIF bill, which is now going to take care of facilities in the various counties, and mainly it's actually facilities in the counties, because what is happening as we speak today is that when patients go to the facilities in the counties, you are treated, you pay a certain amount of fee. That money is collected and is deposited in the county fund. You cannot, the facility cannot access that money to provide any care. And the county might decide not to even prioritize where that money came from. It is not ring-fenced for healthcare. That money will be used for other services. So what we've done in the FIF bill is that we have ring-fenced the money collected in every facility, so that when you collect that money should be pumped back to provide healthcare, not to be used for roads or to be used for any other purpose that was not meant for. Because President Mwai Kibaki, when he was the Minister for Health, introduced that FIF, the Facility Improvement Fund. And this, by the time we moved into devolution, FIF had actually done a lot of achievements, because in every facility you had a committee, what we call the management committee, that would sit. They look at what they have collected, and if the facility, assume it's at the level of level 4, which has many departments, you'll even be able to go into that. This department has collected this much, and then when you sit down at the end of the quarter, you make your proposals based on what you've collected. Then that money is you provide a bank statement, you have banking slips, and you cannot spend that money at source. The money is collected, it is banked, then at the end of the quarter, you get what we call an authority to incur expend, AIE, which is given now in the current law now that we've done. It will be given by the CEC Health. The CEC, you will sit down as a committee, make your proposals based on your budgetary, your bank statement, what you've deposited. Then you now go to the CEC. You say, now we need an AIE, authority to incur this expend. Then you are given the AIE, then you can now go and spend. In addition to what you've collected, the county must also allocate you resources, which they have now been doing, allocating resources. So you will have what you collect, and which is on-source revenue, and then you'll also have what the counties are supposed to, in the division of revenue bill, what you are supposed to be given. So that we are hoping that it will be able to improve on services.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just want to ask, because we are saying that it's just the transition from NHIF to SHIF that has a 1-year period.
Yes.
When does the primary healthcare fund come into effect? When does the emergency, critical and chronic disease fund come into effect?
The cabinet secretary, when these laws were being made, normally when parliament is making laws, we expect that the executive comes up with regulations, so that when the president signs the law, then the cabinet secretary gazettes the regulations. Then those regulations can now go to the committee on delegated to be able to find out whether they are in concurrence or not. So ideally, the cabinet secretary by now should be in the process, they should have gazetted the regulations. So as soon as those regulations are now the ones which are supposed to operationalize this fund. And we were hoping that in the next because when you look at the appropriation in terms of funding for these organizations, they have to be appropriated money by parliament. So we were hoping that as we now look at the budget policy statement, which is going to be tabled on 14th of February in parliament, that should be able to capture these funds, so that when we begin now the next financial year in June, at the end of in July, then we should be able to operationalize these funds, because money would have now been appropriated by parliament.
Okay, so ideally we're saying that from July,
yes,
that's when we should begin to see the full operationalization of this universal health coverage as envisaged in the laws.
If the case did not go to court, I think regulations should have been in place by January. That was the initial plan. But because of the court case now, I think the government had to wait until they are dispensed with the court. Then from there now, I think they are working on the regulations, which should be ready anytime. And I think they are doing now public participation.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens today when somebody goes with because we believe the current NHIF card to hospital? What happens today in the interim while all of this is being sorted out? What happens to that? So that's one part of the question. The other part is that we've seen, do we know that deductions have already started being made towards this new health scheme? And if that, where is that money going?
There are no deductions which have been made.
Okay.
I think I'll begin from there. No deductions are being made in the new scheme because we already don't have the regulations in place. As far as if you are sick today, your cover for the NHIF is still operational.
Okay.
Because as we speak today, NHIF is still in office for the next up to the end of this year.
Yes.
So you'll still continue getting your services. We have a full board of NHIF. We have a full working staff of NHIF, and all the NHIF activities are operational.
Okay.
So there is no lacuna in terms of service delivery.
For that.
Yeah.
So what happens to the individual who signs up for NHIF today, just started a job, whatever it is, signs up for NHIF, or rather signs up for, NHIF today by virtue of being in a job, or anybody else for that matter? Will they continue in NHIF, and as it shifts over, then it continues?
Then you'll move now to the Social Health Authority.
Okay.
Yes.
Individuals have been hired or appointed to work for the Social Health Authority, and there was a bit of a scuffle in terms of who then fits in what position. What happens to those individuals today?
There are no individuals who have been hired for the Social Health Authority. What has happened is that there has been a gazettement of the board of the Social Health Authority. Yeah, but no individual has been hired for the Social Health Authority.
So right now its secretariat is basically the current NHIF.
The current NHIF secretariat.
It's doing both.
It's doing both. And then we have a transition committee, which was gazetted, I think, last week, Monday, by the cabinet secretary. So the transition committee now will have to handle matters of transition so that they'll be able to look at in terms of assets, liabilities, and even functionality, where you are now transiting from NHIF to Social Health Authority. And this transition committee, I think in the gazettement, they have a period of 6 months to be able to work. And as Parliament, we will be having a session with them so that they can come and brief us on their workings. And then we'll be expecting them that subsequently they'll be able to give us progressive reports. And as it comes to an end, then they should be able to give us a complete report on how they've handled the matters of transition.
Okay, so the universal health coverage then it tinkers with the character of health-seeking behavior, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the problems was that a lot of people found themselves at referral hospitals or second-tier health facilities without going to the first-tier medical facility for immediate treatment. So we would find people who maybe had a cut that could be handled at a dispensary going to a referral hospital.
Mama Lucy.
Going to Mama Lucy, exactly, for example. And we thought that when we see it, we think, well, why would you do that? Why would you go all the way to a level 6, level 5 to get something that could be sorted at the very basic level? Now, with this new scheme, what we're saying, like you said, prevention is one of the big aspects that's being handled at that level, as well as primary health care, things that you can go do, get blood pressure sorted out, things like that, to prevent you from going to the next tier. Without looking at the other side, that the reason why folks are going to these next level medical facilities is because the services that are required at that first level don't exist, or even if they've been treated, medicine is not available, or the basic infrastructure that is required to deliver basic health care, water, electricity, medicine, that doesn't exist. The guarantee is being sought after now that if we are saying all this money that will be collected from individuals firstly goes towards this primary health care, will it sort out those issues that have been perennial for the longest time?
Thank you. I think first and foremost, as a country, we need to be able even to shift our mind in terms of thinking, especially healthcare workers. Because I think it begins from the human personnel. How do you handle healthcare within where your area where you are? Because you'll find that let's begin from the dispensary level. At the dispensary level, you'll find that you have a nurse. This nurse must also make sure that the nurse is available and is provided with the resources that needs to be able to take care of the patients. Now, in this universal healthcare, where you have a focus also on primary healthcare, you have the national government and the county government working together to have what we call the community health promoters, which we used to call them community workers, health workers. Now they are called community health promoters. This in the country now we have about 100,000 of them. Each of them is taking care of 100 households. And this community health worker he's been equipped. In the past, there were no equipments. So he now has at least some equipment. He even has a thermometer, he has a PP machine, he has a glucometer where he's able to check your glucose levels. And once he visits, they even have identifications where when he visits your home, you are able to identify that this is the community health worker that takes care of the 100 households. This community health worker is expected to, is also given, unfortunately, I think they are not going to be paid a salary, but they are being given a token. In the past, they were not appreciated. Nobody was giving them anything. And yet you'll find that somebody is giving his time to be able to take care of the community and identify who are the sick people within this community. So this community health worker will be able to, once he visits the village, he visits the household, he's able to identify even in that household, are there people who have, through maybe asking, is able to identify that this is somebody who has diabetes or hypertensive, even advise you if you have been you're on medication. You've been discharged from the hospital, you are on medication. He's able to advise you on how to take care of your medication, even advise the community on how the environmental issues that they can be able to take care of. Slash your grass here, cut the grass, keep the grass short, don't have stagnant water around. Where is your source of water that you are drinking? That kind of information. I think, for me, I look at it that I think as a country, we are starting from somewhere. We might not have gotten it right initially, but with this kind of infrastructure now in place, it will be upon us now to see how best can we be able to improve it. We're starting it from there. How best can we be able to improve it to get our healthcare properly? Then this person now, if finds out that your pressure is high, he'll be able to tell you that now with a high blood pressure, this cannot be handled at the dispensary level. Go to level 4 facility. And he's able to put it, they have a gadget where he's able to put it in the gadget and tells you that the level of the facility in which you can be able to go and be taken care of is this. Yeah. And like now, you'll find that, blood pressure will present with various symptoms. It will give you headache, give you blurring of vision, leg swellings, quite bizarre kind of feelings within your body. But once he is able to check and find out that you have a high blood pressure, instead of you now going to the dispensary, where the dispensary you will be treated for malaria, you will go to the level 4 facility, and he's referred you there, indicating that this person I found in the village has high blood pressure. So you'll go there. You will be given, and at level 4, you'll be able to get, if we equip it, we make sure that they have PP machines, they have antihypertensives, So you'll go to level 4 and you'll be given antihypertensives and you'll get well. He goes to the village, he finds a small child who has diarrhea. This one can be treated at the dispensary by being given ORS. Yeah. So advice is you can go to the dispensary, the local dispensary, and then you'll be treated. You'll be given ORS, and then you'll be able to get well. Yeah. When you reach at the dispensary, the nurse at the dispensary might find that this person, the diarrhea is bloody. Yeah, meaning it is infected. So I might not be able to handle well. You refer you to that level. And that way, and any other ways, if we are able to get it right, right from the medical professions to equipping the facilities, and then we look at our referral system. How do we do it in the correct way?
Okay.
And in this case, what they have done is they've provided digital through the Digital Health Act. We're now able to key in your information at this. That information is sent to the next level of facility where you should be able to get care. And even at the headquarters in Nairobi, I'll be able to look at it and say, so and so in a village in Nyamira has identified a person who is hypertensive and is referred to this facility for treatment. And we are able to get the data for the whole country in one in the station which is in Nairobi. Yes.
Dr. On paper, and when it's explained, it sounds very good. It sounds this is the way to go. The crux of the matter comes with the implementation, and that's why we want to discuss this with you. Let's take a break at 25 minutes to 9. Dr. Robert Pukose is the chair of the Health Committee in the National Assembly. He's also the Member of Parliament for Endebess constituency. He's our guest this morning. Alongside our guest host for this hour, Herman Manyora, who was our guest in the previous hour. We'll be hearing some questions from Herman as well. As we take this break, Dr. we want to give you some water. I'm sure there are very many springs in Endebess.
Yes.
Right? Chemi mingi ya maji.
And we are one of the water towers, Mount Elgon.
Bas. And we're one of the water towers. Now, what do you call a spring in the local language?
Anyet.
Anyet. Okay. In other places, it's called a keringet.
Keringet.
Yes. And keringet, is a water brand as well.
Keringet, which community calls it keringet? Because keringet looks to be a Swahili word. And you move to other places. There is a neighboring place in my area called Keringet. And Keringet in my mother tongue means hole.
Shimo.
Shimo ya maji.
Ingine sasa ni shimo ya chemi ya maji safi. Keringet, the water brand, is telling you own your richness because of where the water comes from. The water comes from even these water towers. We get water, it seeps into the ground, and then it comes out now into those springs that sprout with fresh water, infused with natural minerals from our land that is rich with these natural minerals, filtered by our own rocks that is also our, and that's why Keringet is saying, own your richness. When you're taking a sip of Keringet, you're taking a sip of your richness. Edna, letea daktari maji yake hapa kidogo. As we take this break, we'll be back shortly.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
If a lion shows you its teeth, it doesn't mean it likes you.
It doesn't mean it likes you. It wants start. A liar calls as witness one who is either dead or far away. Say it in Kiswahili.
Ben low nin inte nin there ayu markati kadikta. This character called liar. He has disturbed people. So when you tell him who are your witnesses, he will take you to a place where it is difficult to verify.
For someone like me who sweats a lot, I cannot survive there. Sweating is biblical. Good. And you must blame it on Adam, not because Adam messed up and he was told, "No, you fellow, you by the sweat of your brow, thou shalt eat."
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi this morning. We'll see highs of 26 and lows of 16. We'll see highs of 27 and lows of 15. In the sunny Nakuru, sun is up also in Nyeri, highs of 26 and lows of 14. While in Eldoret, it's sunny at 17, going to highs of 26 and lows of 12. Mombasa is sunny at 29 with highs of 33, and we'll see highs of 33 as well in a sunny Malindi at 29. Kisumu is cloudy at 20 with highs of 30, while Kakamega at 20 is cloudy, going to highs of 31 and lows of 16. It's sunny in Kampala at 22 with highs of 29, while Dar es Salaam will see highs of 33, where it's mostly sunny at 29. Johannesburg is sunny at 19 with highs of 32. And we'll see highs of 33 in a mostly sunny Mogadishu at 29. It's 15 and sunny in Addis Ababa with highs of 24. Hazy skies in Lagos at 22 with highs of 35. And Kinshasa is partly cloudy at 24. We'll see highs of 33.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
Not so busy this morning. Wednesday is not giving anybody much headache this morning. We're seeing some movement coming off of the junction from Outer Ring on the Thika Superhighway, getting into the CBD. But Gongro is also now flowing. We don't have an issue there. Limuru Road, because of that construction, folks are going to slow down the tide as you're getting towards the city. And coming off Gongro Road is also flowing, like we said. So today, not much of an issue. Just in case it does blow up later, let's have a look. Let us know. SpiceFM KE on X. Hashtag TheSituationRoom.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Our conversation continues with Dr. Robert Pukose, the chair of the Health Committee in the National Assembly. We are talking about the rolling out of the universal health coverage with all the laws. So, Wemze, uko na swali sio?
Mingi.
Aya, uliza.
You know, when you talk about prevention, and you talk about the health workers who are essentially extension workers in the community,
yes.
Two things. One, you don't pay them, you give them a stipend or you give them some sort of acknowledgement. There's a problem there because the task that they have been given is enormous.
It's not a stipend task.
No, it's not a stipend task.
And it's not a part-time.
No,
really.
No. Remember, if you're talking about the rural areas where the majority of our population actually live, this is, as far as the village will be concerned, this is the health person. Who ndio daktari?
And the health.
This person here. Now, that's one. Two, I do not see the preventative aspects of it, except for acknowledging or recognizing that there's a problem at an early stage that can be handled. What about ensuring that these diseases do not even rear their heads in the first place? Because the choice of who becomes this sort of worker, the likelihood is that they live in that community, they come from that community, and they're known. They have some knowledge of health practices. What is it in their work that enables them to actually educate, sensitize, ensure that the community know how to prevent? Because many of these things we're talking about are preventable, meaning they don't even need to exist in the first place. Good nutrition, ensuring that you have safe water, ensuring that you protect yourself against mosquitoes, things like that. Is this part of the curriculum? And is this a focus? Because if that is the focus, then even the issue of referrals to level 3 or 4 will be significantly reduced.
Thank you. I think that's a very valid point which is raised. And one of the things that we try to, in the ministry, you have public health officers, you have nutritionists. The issue would be that then even within the sub-county, you have an MOH, medical officer of health, who is not attached to the hospital. His work is supposed to be supervise dispensaries and look at the issues about public health. Apparently, I think people I would suggest that experts now need to come in and look at how do we link up with these community health workers so that we have a better way, a better mechanism. Because as much, and then we train them also, so that when they go, each of the community health worker is in charge of 100 households. And every 100 households is a community health worker. Now, this community health worker of the 100 households, I think needs to be empowered and look at how can he relate with the nutritionist, with the public health officer who is within that area, and then they look at how best they can be able to look at the preventive part of their diseases.
May I suggest something to your committee?
Yes.
The Ministry of Health has tons and tons of research that has been conducted into the very thing we're discussing. The issue is how to put those findings into practice. It exists. These are things that have been done within this country.
Yes.
And we've had projects that have determined how best the very thing you're saying can be done. And the effectiveness of this is also documented. So it is, and it's documented to the point where you can even talk of very huge percentages of people who were previously attendants of healthcare systems and who ceased to attend, meaning you reduce the numbers of people who actually go to healthcare centers by a huge percentage.
Yeah.
These things exist. Now, it's a question of whether our health system want to put these findings into practice. Because we've done it, we have it. Yes.
And when you travel even to other countries, South Africa, for instance, when we went to one of the facilities where they take care of the HIV cases. And we asked them, how do you identify patients from the village so that they can come and seek treatment here? They have a similar mechanism of primary health care, where even for them to make sure that people are taking medications, they have a follow-up. They do a follow-up through the primary health care, because this primary health care person knows the 100 households and he knows who lives where. Yes.
There's a question that Density started with. This person is so critical. In reality, this is the person who will be getting knocks on their door or calls in the middle of the night. Mtoto ni mgonjwa, mama ni mgonjwa, mzee. This is a full-time job for the community health promoter. Why are they only being given a stipend?
I think that's a part I cannot be able to respond to. Some of the
actually, you're the best person to respond to it because you are a lawmaker.
As a lawmaker,
you allocate budgets.
We allocate budgets.
Yes.
And we allocate them based on the agreement between the national government and the county government. On our part, we've provided the funding. That is the share for the national government.
You can decline to provide that funding. You can ask questions on the budget lines and even insist that in the absence of this, you are not okaying that budget, can't you?
But you provide the funding based on the agreements that they have agreed.
Precisely.
Can you question the basis?
They can.
This?
Can you say that?
Yeah, you can question the basis.
Remember when I asked just a few minutes ago, I asked the question about primary health care at that level, level 1, and you said we now should appreciate the fact that there are now 100,000 community health workers. So essentially, that burden shifts, in my mind, from what you've said, shifts from having to walk into a facility to the people who can essentially bring this basic health care to your door. And you pay for it, right?
Yeah.
So we're shifting a burden, but we are not remunerating
the people doing that.
The weight of the burden.
Okay. I get it. And I hear it. But unfortunately, you know, for even those who are on salaried, the salary is not determined by Parliament. It is determined by the Salary and Remuneration Commission. Even for my own salary, I cannot put money to pay myself. So even for the social workers, we based on the budget that you've presented to us, saying that for these social workers, this is the budgetary request that we require. We'll provide that amount. Then the issue of on the terms of service, that is between the employer and the worker. It's not on Parliament side. So I would not be able to determine on how much a community health worker should be able to be paid by the county government and the national government.
But that's the kind of pushback that we would hope that would come from our legislators, because that's the thing. It's not because what we hear is that, you know, well, this was an agreement that was made between the national government and the county government, but then here we are and we're saying that the folks who are making the law and who are saying this money should be paid, with an elevated understanding now that this is the responsibility that we are putting on these individuals and we are giving them a stipend. We cannot equate, unfortunately, the responsibility that is being placed on their shoulders with this token.
I've agreed on that.
So now that's what I'm saying.
For us, we cannot determine how much they should be able to be paid.
No, but you can lead a conversation that leads to an altered determination of how much that they will be paid. But what we're hearing is that, well, you know, this is the agreement that was, and we can ask a question, but the agreement is there, and then that's kind of where we stop. And so I think what we are looking for now is an even more robust engagement, whereby the outcomes then will reflect that legislators are not just going and signing off on things because an agreement had been previously made.
We're not signing off. I think that's the world offer. When it comes to salaries of employees, it is never determined by any parliament. It's never been done.
It's actually, Mheshimiwa, it's not actually just saying that you say
it is normally between either the trade unions, between the trade unions and their employers.
What we are saying is, as in your role as now oversighting the executive and representing your people and knowing the critical role that this particular function is performing, you seek answers from the relevant departments and say, this is a critical role. Is this a role that is just passing, or is it a permanent and fixed role? Then can you go and make this a permanent and fixed role? After that, whether it's the Public Service Commission that's going to hire them, whether it's the County Public Service Boards that's going to hire them, whoever, that now is a secondary matter. The point here is that this is a permanent function, not a voluntary function.
I get it. But you know, the law is the law. Employees in their counties, they are either employed by the County Public Service Board. I think they are not either, but they are employed by the County Public Service Board. This category of workers, seems they were not employed by the County Public Service Board.
And neither are they employed by the Public Service Board.
And neither are they employed by the Public Service
Commission.
Board. Yes.
That's a question. Let's hear, Hamman, I'm sure you have a couple of questions as well.
Well, I just wanted to find out, thank you for making me meet a powerful man. You know, a chairman of a committee in Parliament is a very powerful person. In working parliaments, work is done through committees, and they influence policy and law and everything else. I just wanted to find out, Mr. Chairman, you have two options. As an individual, as a country, as whatever it is, as an organization, as a doctor. One option is straightforward, simple, workable, clear, cost-effective. The other option is not very clear, is cumbersome, prone to abuse. Why would you choose the one that is not clear, not simple, and go for the one that is complex, prone to abuse, open doors to conmen and buccaneers and everything? The question I'm asking is, why would this country choose that cumbersome route of NHIF or whatever you are calling it, instead of just providing health care to its citizens? At independence, we had King George's Hospital, later Kenyatta National Hospital, and then at the top there, Madari for the other thing, spinal injury. Then we had provincial hospitals, we had district hospitals, we had sub-district hospitals, we had health centers, and then we had dispensaries. In some areas, I think we also had mobile kind of clinics. Why did we get to a point and we thought that was not working? Instead, we sneak this NHIF through the back door. What, in your opinion, informs this kind of weird thinking, where you depart from common sense, from that which is simple, straightforward? The money you have that you are going to give to businessmen, to crooks, why can't you use that money and just equip the hospitals and let Kenyans walk in and walk out? I'm finding it a problem. What is your take on that?
Thank you, Hamman. Those hospitals which you talk about for King George transiting to Kenyatta National Hospital, they still exist.
Yes.
Spinal hospital still exists. Malaria mental hospital still exists. Initially, they were created through legal cassette notice, which I think about 2 weeks ago, the Court of Appeal ruled that now they are no longer exist the way they should with the other parastatals, I think about 200. And my committee is in the process of working on bills for referral facilities, and we want to combine both Moi Teaching, Kenyatta University, Kenyatta National Hospital, Spinal, Malaria, and even Kemri does not exist in law now. So these hospitals still get their funding the way they should be able to be getting. Maybe the funding might not be adequate. And most of the funding to the national referral facilities is what constitutes the Ministry of Health Fund, where you have these hospitals providing services. Last week on Thursday, my committee traveled to Eldoret. We went to the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. We found a hospital that I would say is in an excellent condition. If you went today to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, you will be a proud Kenyan to say that we have a hospital that any Kenyan can seek treatment there. Yesterday we were in I was in Garissa, where we visited the regional cancer center, which is at Garissa. This was also supported through the national government. Unfortunately, some of the contracts which were ended for service, because one of the linear accelerator machine was down, and I was also informed the one even in Mombasa is also down. And that is where we are talking about leakages, which you are raising, that you're spending money and people are not getting services. But as a committee, you'll find that we're trying to move from one area to another area and ask those questions. Why money has been put in this facility and is not able to offer the services for which it is offering. This country, we started even with we started a program 2015 called the Managed Equipment Service, where we equipped facilities, put the machines there to provide services. When we went to Moi Teaching and Referral, you have a machine for managed equipment service in the renal unit, renal dialysis machines. Then you have another machine which is service, which is kind of a service provider, which we are different. This one, which is managed equipment, is charging 4,500 for supplies. The other one is charging 3,000. So you're looking at those kinds of disparities, and this is the questions. Even us as members, we are asking ourselves, why that kind of disparity? How do we stop this kind of leakages? NHIF is not a new phenomenon. It has been there. And apparently, NHIF for many years has been a cash cow for businessmen to fleece public resources. And of recently, you heard in the media, there was a media expose by NTV, and many media stations have been following up on this issue of where you have facilities colluding with the NHIF staff to fleece resources and to steal from, I would say to steal from, because it is stealing, where you give in your claims are more than what you are seeing. You make claims, even like now you look at even we went to Nakuru, where you have claims for Eduafia from that children were seen from this school about 42. When you go to the school, at the watchman, the ones who are given sick of, in the watchman's register, it's only 2.
So why don't you understand my question in terms of, don't you think we should just abolish this and give free health care to Kenyans?
Unfortunately, you must be able to provide it through a system. Many countries have put up social health insurance. They have a social insurance in place. And therefore, we are trying to reform this social insurance to make sure that those leakages are actually stopped.
So you're creating a system that would hopefully now this time be more accountable than the previous one.
Yes.
All right. More questions to come on this. Mheshimiwa, we thank you very much for joining us for this conversation. Herman as well, thank you for staying on and asking that critical question. Herman Manyora has been our guest host for this hour, and the Honorable Dr. Robert Pukose, the chair of the Health Committee of the National Assembly, has been the guest talking about the rollout of the universal health coverage, how we sort out our health care system in the country. He's also the MP for Endebess constituency. Time for the news. It's 9 a.m.
Spice up your life.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that Sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you are willing to be milked dry.
Hapo.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's a land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, hawa watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
After 9 o'clock, traffic has not posed an issue. We are not getting any reports of that. It's just heavy at your junctions coming off Uhuru Highway. And on Limuru Road today, still busy. We're looking at traffic still busy on the Thika Superhighway, just at that Pangani underpass. That's where we'll have most of the issues right about now, and then going towards the end of the hour. But for now, I think we've looked good all morning. We shouldn't have any issues going through it. Let us know. We'll check back in about half an hour or so and see what it looks like. We'll talk in the meantime on SpiceFM KE on X. # The Situation Room.
is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
35 countries is where EcoBank is. 35 countries in Africa. It is the Pan-African Bank. And it's also in 4 other countries around the world, hiring over 14,000 people and putting its support behind seamless transactions, seamless banking, and pushing for a better Africa and a better you. It's throwing the same kind of support behind the Africa Cup of Nations that's taking place now into the semis today and saying, look, we can actually do better. We can be better. We have that theme behind our operations, and that's the kind of support we throw towards sporting events like this. It's a better Africa. It's a better you. It's a better me.
Better you, better me, better Africa, better
Indeed,
everything.
yes.
Okay. People are talking about our issues with our live stream. It appears to be having very many issues. Somebody's asking, is it sabotage? Is somebody sabotaging Spice? What's happening? Well, we don't know. It's just we've been having some technical challenges this week, but they are being worked on. City, you know, this Valentine that we're talking about, and the city rudi pale kwa ile kiti wachana na hii ndio tufanye mambo ya Valentine proper, right? Yeah. Yo, Bas.
Valentine away.
Very good. Very good. So, 14th February is next week.
Yes,
Wednesday. Okay.
Yes.
The color burgundy and the color gold are very important colors to think about.
Yes.
Because on that day, if you're wearing burgundy and you're wearing gold and you've paid how much for single regular?
Single regular, 3,000 shillings. You've done that.
Okay. And then double regular?
5,500
Not
shillings.
double, it's couple.
Double regular. Well, okay. Let's go with couple for the purposes of this conversation.
Couple regular?
5,500
5,500.
Yeah.
And the couple VIP?
10,000 shillings.
Aha. Then you find your way to the Sarit, your city. If you do that, city, you sit down. There's a welcome drink. As you enter like this, welcome drink. Then you're shown to your table. And then you sit down. And then prepare to be serenaded. Entertainment through that evening. All right? No mwangalie kwa macho. No mwambie. You sing to them. All right? And then you are served course number 1. Sijui ni soup of what.
Minestrone.
Soup of muteta.
Clear soup.
Kimani Ngonjiri is here. He'll tell you what muteta soup is.
Oh my. Do we want to know? What are those?
Na iko na mete. Savio. And then course number 2, then course number 3, right? And kwanza, if you're sitting on the VIP, then there's like a bottle of bubbly that's just there.
Bubbling its way in your direction.
Oh, my friend. People talk about Valentine, those, they don't know. They do not know.
This is the way, man.
The testimony that will be given on Thursday by those that have gone on Wednesday to Sarit City. What's the thing called? What are we calling it?
Elegance in love.
Hey. My friend.
They love you, you love them, you're in love, you're elegant.
Watu hawajui. And listen, he does not have to pay. You could also pay for this.
Sounds like a social justice campaign.
Yes. Yes.
And the mean the custodian one?
Don't worry.
I shouldn't worry.
No, please.
Nikai to custodian.
Yes,
Our next guest is in the studio. The Honorable Kimani Ngonjiri is a politician, is a former member of parliament, he was to be a chief administrative secretary officially. He is not officially, but maybe he's serving. Are you?
I'm not serving.
You're not serving?
I respect the court order.
You may be amongst the few who do.
Walikunyima kamshahara na hivyo tu yani.
Tunakaa tu tunavumilia and waiting because there's nothing you can do, and we need to respect the court of law. So, and because it's on the process, and we believe that the government has taken it to the parliament, maybe they will see whether it can work. Because the court worked with what has been passed in the parliament.
If I went to Arthi House,
yes,
I will not find like an office there that, where Arthi House. I can't find an office where you maybe sometimes come there and sit.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I've been the system. I've been the 7 years in Lands Committee in the Parliament. So it is my system, and me. Maybe I'm just like you. Your career is media. Even if you are not in the station, you still be outside somewhere. So that's been my work from when I was born. I've never supplied the government. I've never done contract with the government from when I was born. My issue is land. Buying, and subdividing, selling, and that's my business. So you cannot miss me in the corridors when maybe
over the house,
at the house, or on the ground where shambas are, or where shambas have been subdivided. That's the fact.
Okay. Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest conversation. Sana. Good to have you here.
Yes, thank you. Nimekuwa nikiwaona, nawasikia.
Very good.
Nawaona mbali.
Sasa uko hapa, unatuona ana kwa ana.
Sasa nimeingia, kwanza ni mshangao. Nimeingia. Sasa what happened? But I like you guys.
Asante.
We enjoy when you are actually talking, interviewing people here. You know, also we sometimes we get educated with what you do here. We listen at the people, you interview the people. Maybe some questions which we cannot ask, but you ask on our behalf. So we feel good when we are hearing. So it can also give us the directive of what we think, ama kurekebisha, what we think maybe is not going, not doing right. So you do a good job. We respect you for that.
Asante sana. City will give you the day's proverb. Every week, City goes to one African country. He researches proverbs from that country, and then every day he gives us one proverb. Today, this week, he is in Namibia.
Yes, and this is courtesy of EcoBank.
The Pan-African Bank.
Yes, the Pan-African Bank with 35 branches across Africa.
Yes, and 4 outside Africa.
Yes. A stranger has big eyes but sees nothing.
A stranger has big eyes but sees nothing. Honorable Kimani, what do you interpret this proverb to be saying?
Well, big eye. How do you interpret that?
A stranger,
yes,
that's coming to a new place,
yes,
has big eyes, but they see nothing.
Well, it depends with what you want to see. Mm-hmm. You can be there and you see nothing. And you can be there and see or identify what you want. So it depends what is in your interest or what you want to see.
What took you there?
Yes, and what took you there. That's what I think.
People see opportunity.
Yes, yes. You know, many people go somewhere, and I always advise people in business. Don't if you get something to do or a business, you need to go very fast because you think you have seen it alone, but maybe 1,000 people have seen it. So it will depend with the speed.
Act fast.
How to get there. So that's why there's a difference of people who takes things in action. And even when I'm sorry saying that, when you are dating, when you are young boy, you know I'm old now. It depends.
You're no longer dating?
No, I'm old now.
Okay.
Yes. It depends. You see a girl, then maybe you say, okay, I'll first build the house, I'll buy a car, I'll do all this kind of thing. And somebody will focus on a different issue.
Unakuta msichana ameenda.
Leo naacha ukijenga manyumba yako.
That's a good one.
So that is what maybe somebody you have asked to see.
A stranger with big eyes sees nothing. It's a good interpretation. Mheshimiwa, you've done Nakuru politics for a long time.
Yes, my
Nakuru has been in the news recently. In fact, even today, there's a story here in the Standard. The Senate blasts Nakuru County leadership over drop in revenue. Revenue has dropped from 3.6 billion to 1.6 billion over the past 1 year. The senator for Nakuru, Tabitha Keroche, says the county is setting a bad precedent by disobeying court orders and all. And then we've also been having this whole story about the War Memorial Hospital.
Yes.
And goons have invaded. Police are supposed to remove the goons. Goons leave, but they leave padlocks and chains. What's happening to Nakuru?
Well, let me say it is very sad for what have happened in Nakuru, especially for Memorial Hospital. You know, there is different categories of the hospital. There's medical. There is annex. Annex is a higher class from medical. Then there is memorial. This memorial plus the annex, it was one hospital before for white people or people who are able to go in those hospitals. Then the time of Kenyatta, he came and divided. When Wazungu went, he left a section of memorial, and the other one is for annex, a higher class from medical. And nothing was changed, and it stayed and it operated like that all through. This memorial hospital is very important for me and you and everybody because, well, anybody in the road or anywhere gets sick, emergency. That's why it should be taken before maybe it's lifted or something, because they have all the machines. They have a theater where it can operate very fast. They have dialysis machine. There's oxygen. There's mortuary. There is very good facilities which they have. But recently, the list got finished. And it is unfortunate because I'm in land I know and the law when I was in the parliament for 7 years in the land issue. When the land get finished lease, it goes to the land commission. Then the land commission will decide this land, who is interested with this land. Is it the county? And the county is given the priority. Is it the county? Is it the national government? Or is it something we should take back to the owner?
Issue another lease.
Yeah, another lease. Because when I was in the parliament, I led a motion at the past act of parliament, myself, when I was there, that if the land get finished lease, the first priority should be given the owner. Because we cannot say like this now, this building, how it is. Then it gets finished lease. Somebody comes from nowhere and say, let me be renewed, this land is mine. That one, to make people kill each other. Because that is very bad. So we passed it that way. So when this lease got finished, the people who are board members, and don't forget Memorial is just like a sport club, Nairobi Hospital. It's landed by board. By board. The board lands. And it has.
The board of what? Is it a trustee? What is it? A foundation?
It's a trustee.
Okay.
Yeah. Then now, according to the information I have, when they renewed lease, I don't know. We're waiting for the court. Maybe they did not pass the right procedure when they're renewing. I don't know. But even if they did not pass the right procedure, the action which were taken by the county was not the right way. Removing people from the hospital, chasing out, removing them from dialysis, oxygen. Women wanted to get bath, throwing them outside. And the mortuary, were people in the mortuaries. You know, they did things which is unbelievable. My issue is, I would not like to know who be the owner of the land, but the hospital must be let to run and to help the Kenyans so that we can be able to save their life. Now, when orders were given, court orders, county commander, police to go and make sure that he has removed the county council carries, the county council carries, and because the judge was really in it, he said, I want now and by the evening you must report back. Then when he went in the court, he went in the hospital, they made arrangement with the counties to remove their scullies inside and put goons. There's a group of goons called Confirm.
They have a name.
They have a name, Confirm, which they have terrorized people. And this has been an issue to the government that there is a confirm, we must finish this confirm, they have been killing people. The government was in it, and now they are the people removing the askaris of county and putting some of them with the plain cloth and putting them back and giving the keys of the hospital. And I tweeted, my friend, I don't want to say whom I tweeted, but I tweeted to who could have helped. From the police, from the boss, I tweeted. I have it in my phone. Because I have the information, these people, goons, they are going at night to loot.
The hospital?
The hospital. Nobody had that. I have record, and God knows that. Then, at night they came. Because they were just around, nobody could have got in. They chased the nurses. They chased the hospital doctors. They were passing in a mountain. Mulima iko hapo nyuma. They got in the hospital. They looted bed sheet, everything, utensils, all those machines. They looted all those things, and they went with them. Then we are still in the government. We are still looking what is happening. There's what we can say. There's what we can talk. But I've never seen a time like that one. Even in my heart, I have a lot of problem of seeing where are we going. We don't want to know who is the owner of the land. But living people. And after that, somebody died. 2 people died. Earlier, 1 person. This time, 2 people died. And he was being buried in Joro. We went there as MP. He was my friend. Actually, that man was from Matatu. And when we went there, the same people who made him die in the hospital, the county government, they mobilized 10 Nissan of goons in the funeral to come and shout and refuse members of the parliament to talk. And the pastor was bribed, and he openly said nobody should talk in this funeral.
What was the problem? Because we've heard now, this is not recent happening. This was some time ago.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this invitation of goons, as it were, has been present often.
Yes.
What's the reasoning behind it? To stop what? I'm not even talking about what happened most recently with the War Memorial Hospital.
Yes.
I'm talking about now this past one, before we now come to present day, because the same thing has happened again.
Yes.
There seems to be that when whomever it is uses goons, it seems to work for the goal they're trying to achieve.
Yes.
What's that thing? What's that problem?
You see, the problem, I think, is just ignoring the structure and the constitution, and maybe also ignoring maybe the court orders. You see, there are some people who actually to misplace other people on their right things to be done. I think that's where there is a problem, because like now our governor, she is my daughter. I was the chair of the funeral of his father. I made her to be the speaker myself. I received the dowry of her. But I'm saying this not because I hate her, but I'm saying this because the respect must be there. And especially the name of his father. He should listen the wisdom of what we are supposed to do. But she can do his work. But we need to control these things. So I think, as you have asked, some people are misusing power. And I think that's where there's a problem. And my appeal to the Kenyans, if you are posted somewhere, you have Madaraka, you are MP, you are governor, you are senator, please stay on your line within the constitution. But don't overpass that.
There's a law, Mheshimiwa. If there's a law and there's a procedure with which you acquire property, there's a procedure with which you remove somebody from a property, and we can see some blatant flouting of the law, not once, not twice. Are we saying that it's very powerful people who are then orchestrating this? Because for a police commander to be ordered by the court not once, not twice, make sure that this facility is secured.
And they do nothing.
And it's not secured. For a county administration to deploy its askaris to go to a facility and not tell them, all right, so go and take over management of the facility, but go and remove people from this facility. That says that there's something sinister,
Yes.
but by a seriously powerful person or group of people.
I think I would agree with you because you have just put it properly that, as I said before, nobody is interested with the land. But the right of Kenyans, the right of what the president is saying for medical, for people to be helped, insurance and all those kind of things, why should they be treated? They should be treated in the hospital. So it's a right of a human being in the hospital and to be given the service and to save our people whom we love. But I think that is misusing the power somewhere. But I think when things happen sometimes, the propaganda and the people may be close to the bosses, maybe they will cheat and they'll do all those things, but it will come to the end. That's what I know. And I respect the court because the court have sat on it properly. And I think things are going to be okay. And in fact, this will be the end of me in this station talking about that hospital. I've removed myself because it's in the court. And it makes me bitter when I talk about it. So in this station of yours, it'll be the last thing I can talk because it makes me feel a lot of bitterness and I don't want to fight with anybody.
You've been in the land business for many years.
Yes.
So you understand. When you can see something, you can already see, you can see them from 18.
Yes. Yes.
The games that are being played. This particular piece of land where the hospital sits, and like you've given us the history, this is even pre-independence. We had these facilities, medical, memorial, annex, and adjacent pieces of land. It was run by a trust which had a board which was running this. So lease is coming to expire, lease expires. There's the role of the National Land Commission, there's the role of the county government, all these things. If you look at the process, there is, in my thinking, there is no way the board of War Memorial did not know that their lease was about to expire. And the most obvious thing for them to have done is to apply for a renewal of the lease.
Yes.
Or to push for a renewal of the lease.
Yes.
If that land has not been grabbed for the last 60 years,
100 years.
100 years, then it means that there's been an understanding among everybody in Nakuru and elsewhere that this land is for this hospital. Have there been conversations in the last, let's say, 10 years? As far as you know, because you've been a member of parliament in this area, you're in the land business. Has there been a conversation in the last 10 years about this particular piece of land and as allocating it various other uses apart from the hospital?
Well, let me say, because I've been in Nakuru, I have not had in a conversation, but I think that discussion, maybe it could be within the directors and the board members, but I have not had it. I have not had it in the parliament, been discussed. But I'll tell you, when I was a member of parliament in the lands committee, we passed, myself being that in Mombasa, parliament, act of parliament, because we saw there was a lot of problem with land issue when it gets leased. And we passed, I was sitting on behalf of the chair, and we passed, if the land is finished, is going to finish lease, 10 years before, they must be notified. This land is remaining 10 years, the lease to get finished. The reason I went in that direction is because sometimes the owner of land will die and leave to the children, and maybe they don't know the procedure. So we said, instead of being snatched and being renewed to some other people, 10 years, they must be given a notice. Then, after that, we said, it goes to 6 years. Because of using the tricks, the land people that were using before by that time, and cartels, that he was served with this address. I said, if the shamba is 100 years, or 50 or even 20 years, maybe you have changed your address. So it must be served in the local newspaper. 2 newspapers. It must be gazetted and be given a notice. It is 6 years this needs to get finished. Then after that, 6 months, you must be served.
Again.
personally in the house, now in the property, knowing not who is there or who is not there, but in the door, it is 6 months, and the county government, land commission is going to take this land. Those procedures were there, but my brother, they are not being followed, and that's the biggest problem we have. We don't follow the procedure. We have very good laws, but the procedure, we don't follow these procedures, ma'am. That's the biggest problem we have. We make laws, we fight for making laws, making the constitution, but we don't follow these things.
Let's take a break. It's 29 minutes to past 9. The Honorable Kimani Ngunjiri is our guest this morning. He is a Nakuru politician, was a member of parliament, was to be a chief administrative secretary, waiting for the court process to conclude on that particular one. We are talking about Nakuru politics and what's happening there. Keringet is in Nakuru County.
Yes.
You know that, huh?
Yeah.
And you know that they bottle their water at source.
Yes.
Now we want to serve you with some Keringet water.
Oh, that's good.
From your county. Because they say, own your richness. Now for you, it's more direct.
There are two things we remember with the Keringet. That water and the moral lamp.
Abas.
Even if you go anywhere in the country.
In the world.
They will ask you have an order in the menu. Moral lamp.
If it is not moral lamp, we don't want it.
We don't want it.
We'll be back shortly. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Across Africa, a new era has begun, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future. Together. EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
When you are born from African soil, you are born rich in who you are, with a natural richness from Mother Nature herself. Just like our still mineral water, which is naturally filtered through Kenyan lands and made rich by a perfect blend of nature's minerals, giving you premium still mineral water made by the same African soil that made you. Keringet. Own your richness. Keringet, a product of the Coca-Cola Company.
Oh, finally! It's my Standard Courier delivery.
At Standard Courier, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we guarantee swift and efficient deliveries to your doorstep every time. Give us a call on 0793 599 684 or schedule your next delivery by visiting our website www.standardmedia.co.ke/courier. Trust Standard Courier service for all your courier needs. We deliver with pride.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM.
Minutes up to 10 a.m. with the Honorable Kimani Ngunjiri. We are discussing politics of Nakuru County. We are now live also on KTN News as well. Mheshimiwa, that story that I was telling you, that this one in the Standard this morning.
Yes.
You know, county revenues in Nakuru dropping from 3.6 billion shillings to 1.6 billion shillings in a year. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
It's a drop of 2 billion shillings. Okay? The senator for the county, Susan Tabitha Keroche, is saying, I'm petitioning the Senate to move with haste and investigate how revenue collection dropped this much on the hospital saga. She's also raising issues just like you've been raising. The only hope for residents of Nakuru and tens of dialysis patients lies with the Senate, as the executive and police have refused to abide by court orders. This, you, others, all of them just training guns on what's happening in the county executive of Nakuru County. Mheshimiwa, I've got to ask you, is Governor Susan Keheka under siege?
Well, I think she is putting herself there because now the situation which we have is actually many things is discussion. Even the issue of the hospital, it can be a discussion. Even the issue of losing 2 billion revenue it can be a discussion. But when somebody comes, it is me and it is me and it is me, then it becomes a problem on that. And we have a law of public participation, public discussion, and that's why we are here in this station, listening to each other, respecting each other, and we can come with a solution. But when it comes that you cannot be challenged, you cannot talk with anybody, then it comes to be a problem. And in Nakuru, it isn't the problem. I want to say that. It isn't the problem.
But how can that be the case? I mean, this governor has been a county assembly speaker. This governor has campaigned and won the seat of Senate. This governor has campaigned and won the seat of governor. This is somebody who understands A, the politics of the county, and B, the need to balance between interests politically and all. So I'm failing to understand what you'd mean by, within a year, all these other guns would be training on the governor and saying she appears to be not cooperating with others.
Let me tell you. Do you want to tell you the solution, the problem, where it comes? I have the answer of the solution. The voter. How do we vote? Our leaders. We vote our leaders with the tribal line, with the party, with the region. These things cannot make us, and the money cannot make us elect. And that's where you are coming with that question, asking, why 1 year? Somebody was elected with big margin of votes.
Yeah.
What happened? It is the voters. How do you vote? You vote in the tribal line, in the party line, in the region line. Who can change this country? Is Wanjiku. Is Wanjiku ready to change this country? After that, he started crying. Many people have come in the power because of the money. Corrupting people, veiling people. There are some areas I don't want to mention, even in my own place. People are brought from around 15,000. The people who are in the government has stolen money, they had enough money to vary people to the constituency, where we are putting these people here so that we can deny the people of this constituency to have right of voting. Bribery, buying voting card, ID, 2,000. Wanjiku will give me 2,000. You give an ID, not to vote, 2,000. Then you cheat him. After that, I will give you 3,000. Those bribe and those problems we have, it comes from the grassroots. And that's why we elect the people sometimes who are not capable. And when they get there, they say, I have to get my money back because I used my money. Many of them say that.
Are you saying that is the case with the Nakuru governor today?
No, ma'am, I don't want to go into that, but I would like people to check themselves. Did it happen that way? Maybe it's money, maybe it is a party, maybe it's the wave, maybe those things. One of them must be somewhere.
Sure, that's true. And I think that every place, it doesn't matter really where you're looking at, that there will be issues that will be understood. And that can be understood. But there seem to be so many things going wrong in this county at the same time. So, we're not talking about the issue with health workers and whether they will or will not be sacked. We're not talking about whether people will be chased from, a memorial hospital that's been here for I don't know how many decades. 100 years. We're not talking about whether revenue for the county has dropped by 2 billion shillings. It's not 200,000 shillings. It's not 2 million shillings.
No.
It's not 200 million shillings.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? We're talking about 50% reduction in revenue in 12 months. That is not a small matter. So for all of these things to be bedeviling a county at the same time, then one must ask, what is the problem? Of course, there can be the perception, there can be speculation, there can be so many things. But if we're going to be honest about what the issue is, what is the issue? Is there some kind of governorship by proxy? Is there a remote control somewhere that is saying this is how you're going to operate within the county? Where is the county assembly? Where are the individuals who are supposed to check the executive? Where are those who are supposed to be making sure that at the very basic level, things are supposed to happen in a certain manner? Where is all of that? Because we can talk and then, the cloud will disappear and then we see what's really there. And my question is, what is really there? What is it?
Well, ma'am, I think what is there in one way or the other for my assessment, I might be right, I might not be right because I'm also a human being. But the way the meetings have been done there and giving people money that panga laini, I have come with the sugar. The people who comes to see you, they don't come with anything. Me, I've come with the sugar. Then automatic, this is the money of the revenue being got from this side and to be taken to the people for the bribe. That would be my answer as a mzee who can maybe be able to assess. Because if you are not doing that before, giving people money, but now you are giving people money, and here we have lost money, 2 billion of revenue. What would be the answer?
1 + 1.
1 + 1. That's what I can say. That's my assessment, I think. And you know, when it comes money, it messes everything. You are talking about MCAs. If MCAs are capable, but they are corrupted. I'm saying that. They are corrupted. When something comes, they are taken somewhere and given money. And there's not a lot of money, my brother. 5,000. 10,000, 2,000, 3,000. You had even, I'm sorry to say that because I was there, but I did not confirm that, but it has been mentioned. Even the parliament, people are going to the toilet to be corrupted with 10,000. I didn't see it, but it passed that somewhere. You know, the level of the corruption, ma'am, I would say, this money we have lost, it is the money which has been got to go and give people. So be patient, because actually it's from this hand your money being given on this hand. It is total corruption.
You know, there's something very interesting about this issue of the War Memorial Hospital. You see, when you talk about the expiry of a lease, because this discussion has come up, it becomes a legal issue.
Yes.
Now, Section 13 of the Land Act clearly stipulates, it talks about whether the person who owns the land is a foreigner, whether it is a local, the process that you must follow. You are right.
Yes.
Our Constitution 2010 tells you, the notice is given to you 5 years prior to the expiry of that lease.
Yes.
And then you're told what you need to do in order to reapply for that lease.
Yes.
Now, when the owner of the land is a Kenyan citizen, it's a completely different matter when it comes to how, at the expiry of the lease, you are able to now renew that lease again. You see, the law was looking at how it is. The colonialists had a stranglehold on land. And that's why they would give a lease for 999 years. And the automatical renewal of that. And that's why, for instance, in Kenya, right now with our constitution, only locals can have freehold land. Only locals.
Yes.
And it's to try and set right that anomaly that was there before, that somebody can just own land and pass it on into perpetuity.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no mention whatsoever in this matter of the War Memorial Hospital, except one heard that they were taken to court because they forged the lease documents. And I'm wondering, at what point? Because the National Land Commission is in charge of these things. Is there documentation as to the processes that were followed or not followed, or how this forgery actually took place? Because the issue of renewing a lease, it's not I come, knock on the door, I talk to you for 5 minutes and it's renewed. No. And something of this sort, it would even go up to the cabinet minister who is in charge of lands. It's a very, very lengthy process. That is the reason why you're given the notice. When you're given the notice, you can start the application then. You don't wait for the month. You start 5 years. So there's ample time. Now, we haven't heard from the board that was removed, or the board that was taken to court, as to whether they actually followed procedure, as to whether they actually applied, and what happened to that application. Now, I speak as somebody who grew up in Nakuru.
Yes.
I went to primary school, St. Xavier's Primary School in Nakuru.
Okay.
So for me, the issue of War Memorial is not some distant story.
Yes.
No, it's something that I relate to very, very personally. And I know the service that hospital has provided for people for the many, 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 many decades it has been in operation.
Yes.
And it cannot be that you have a board of management that has been managing the affairs of the hospital, and they did not know that this lease was expiring, and that they did not also take steps to ensure that they have a renewal of it.
Let me say this, I quite agree with you, my brother. And what we are looking at now, it is because it is in the court, we are looking to hear the procedure.
Yes.
Whether the trustees, they followed the right channel. We are waiting to hear that, because now it will come out with the evidence, Land Commission, Minister of Lands, and also the board itself. We shall know exactly.
It will
we
come
are
out.
waiting there, even myself, so that we can be able to blame in either side. But my issue is not that, even Liz and all those things. My issue is, why are we removing people from hospital? Why are people dying? When we are seeing from dialysis machine, oxygen, theater, why? That is only my question. Not any other things we shall wait to hear in the court. But are we proceeding even now, crossing? They welded the doors, those goons, after looting. It was welded. I hope the justice will be seen on this. The issue I've said of land, I have no problem. But my concern, why? My mother might be there, my father would be there. My father passed away in the same hospital. My mother was being treated in that hospital. My wife have delivered 2 children in that hospital. I've slept in that hospital several times. It have saved my life. It have saved many people in accident, putting oxygen before they are delivered in Nairobi or somewhere else. That is my concern only, not this other of the list. List, as you have said, my brother, you have explained so well the constitution and the procedure. And you have said something also very important. You are born in Nakuru. So when we are talking about memorial, you know what we are talking about.
Well, I understand the hospital.
You understand the hospital.
I grew up in Nakuru.
Yes.
So
my
I know
proposal was 3. And that's even my stand now, my proposal. There is this land, it catches the parking of the State House, where ndeges naanguka, and where also we park. We park when we are going to the State House, and it's a good thing.
There's some open land there.
The open land.
Yeah.
From the time of Kenyatta, it depended.
Even before Kenyatta.
Even before Kenyatta. That one, nobody has a dispute with it.
What do you mean?
What we are saying, this land,
This is all
to me,
part of the
it's a part of the hospital. But you see, it's never used by hospital. You know that.
No, it's used for helicopters to land.
Helicopters, delegation parking the cars because the State House is small.
Yes.
We have no problem with that. This land, my proposal was to be cut into 3 when they are doing this. The other one for parking for the State House, let it be for the State House. We have no problem for parking. Let Annex have his own land because it is falls under the county government. Let Memorial remains with its own land because it's enough land, even some upper side. Do you know upper side is 7 acres?
Towards the, yes.
7 acres, not been done anything. So the issue of the county saying they want to demolish and they want to put, 10 stories hospital, we are not interested. Why can't we save our life now before we reach there? There are so many lands where we can build. Even that 7 acres behind, it can be done hospital.
In your proposal,
yes,
were you proposing that the 2 facilities, Annex and Memorial, continue to be run as they're being run now? Annex by the county, Memorial by the trustees?
Yes. That was my proposal. And that is my stand. And that's even my brother, you say that because in Nakuru, we need that hospital. Like yesterday, people are getting sick. Day and night.
Okay.
The diseases which are there now is unbelievable, my brother.
So how about the proposal by the county that, we have a problem with PGH and congestion in PGH and we need to expand and create another health facility? What answer would you give them? We need to expand our health facility as a county government of Nakuru. We need to have our own bigger hospital because PGH is there and PGH is congested.
It is.
It is. But who said that there is no land in Nakuru for government? In 58, you know very well.
Yes.
There was a land, 11 acres is for railway. And it has been grabbed.
Yes.
And the railway gives 50 years, 100 years. 11 acres, which we can build hospital. It is there. Let them come, the surrounding, the constituencies, there's enough land.
Actually, if you go towards Langa and all that, that is where you need a big hospital because that's where the majority of people are.
Exactly.
You don't need another hospital close to town. You need it further where there's a larger population.
Look at technology.
Yes.
It was bought by 14 counties. County councils when it was municipality, county councils by that time. These are the people, that land touches the town, where also we can get 100 acres, 200 acres, and put anything we want. Now, they have gone escaping from town. They have gone Joro, Egerton. They have cut land of Egerton, industrial park, 100 acre, and another one, I don't know how many acres. And after looking at the document, we are looking how it's going to be, how we are going to get it. They have grabbed about 1,500 acres.
Grabbed?
Yes.
What do you mean grabbed?
Can you see now Egerton? You know where it is.
I know exactly where it is.
What is the future of our children and agriculture? We are going to cut their land. Can we also not take a big hospital there?
We can.
And we'll be given this.
Actually, the land that Egerton University has is actually enough to build a city.
I'm telling you.
And still keep the farmland.
And keep the farmland.
Yeah, but nothing.
And technology also. Yeah?
Is there anything that says that you cannot put up a hospital, a level 4 or 5 facility in 58, in Freria,
nothing,
in Egerton, and also look at Memorial, which is old, and expand it as well?
They're not talking expansion. That's the problem.
That's the problem. You see now, the pipeline, my brother, you know, Nakuru.
They're talking demolition.
Yes.
Yeah, demolition to expand.
No. Over the hospital itself to then
it
bring
exists.
Up something.
Now you want to demolish it to build.
To build something bigger.
Yeah, but
are you interested in the building or in the facility?
No, I'm looking at King George Hospital, which is Kenyatta National Hospital. They never demolished anything; they just kept expanding it because it had the land.
The original structure.
The planners understood you needed to expand, so they ensured there was enough land for that expansion. You're not using the land that exists to expand. You want to demolish what exists so that you can build a new one. I have heard nonsense, but that one beats it all.
Let me ask you, my brother, because you come from Nakuru.
Yes.
Pipeline.
Yes.
Where we wanted to build the airport.
Yes.
We have land there. It's about 700 acres. Actually, it was 5. Then the mayor offered to give 200 acres. He said, if it is for the airport, I will not sell. I will give you free. So we have 700 acres. Pipeline. That land is never used with anything. Is that land not enough? And it is the center of Naivasha, Gilgil, Nakuru, Njoro, Molo, to put an hospital. 700 acres to put an hospital, which one? Because we transferred, because it was said that it cannot be put an airport because, what do you call, flamingos. Flying over, they can bring problem. Then it was left like that. Then in my constituency, Bahati, we gave where it was airdrome, we gave that land where they can put airport, which has been done now in that side. This land can be used on that issue.
There's no shortage of land that can be used for the building of a hospital.
No.
Okay, so then there's something peculiar about that one. Is that what you're saying?
That land is more valuable because it is in town.
Yeah.
My brother also looked at, you have been there, Memorial Hospital, just opposite. There are those houses for railway.
Yes.
There's open land. We used to take cattle to put in the kwa gari ya moshi ikienda. Hapo reli, kwa reli ikienda hapo.
Which is directly also opposite across the road on the other side.
On the hospital. Yes. That land is there, all of it. Inakuwa grabbed. Where it is opposite the hospital medical, where it can be put the structure. So the issue is not structure.
So where is the leadership of Nakuru then? All of you, because you're also a leader of Nakuru. As a former legislator, as a politician in the area, you, the other MPs, the governor, the MCAs, where is leadership in saying, let's bring sanity, let's have a conversation, let's even talk about having a proper master plan? Nakuru is now a city and is expanding. It's not going to expand it to the lake.
No.
That one is done. It's Delamere has given you a piece of land. There are some areas that will not expand it. So how do you plan for the future Nakuru city, the pink city?
The biggest problem, my brother, you have asked me that question, but how do I plan? Whom am I?
As a leader, I mean, how do you as leaders initiate a conversation that leads us into proper?
I agree. I think the thing is actually for the public to push on their interests and public participation. And because they're also being bribed for doing wrong things, not the right things, we still have a long way to go. But I appeal in this media, the president should intervene and help Nakuru County. It may not go in that direction because when Nakuru County is good and peaceful, then everywhere in Kenya is good. You know how it started even the time of Kanu. In the Kanu office there.
Nakuru was the battleground.
It was the battleground. So when we make peace in Nakuru, and I'm happy for one thing, that this is the first time for the election we went. I appreciate very much for the people themselves and the president. There was no bloodshed in election which was passed 2022. No bloodshed. It had been always bloodshed. It had never had bloodshed like this time, 2022. But the president needs to intervene. There's a state house there. He needs to call us and he needs to command and say this is ABCD. We are here as brothers in this station. I know those things you are putting in your ears, and I'm sure to say that. There's somebody also controlling from up. The time is getting finished. Now you are going for this news. Now you are going for this. There's somebody controlling there, so that we may not be. Sometimes we might go overboard. So there must be somebody holding the steering. That person is the president. We need the president to come and put us together.
President was in Nakuru just the other day.
Yeah.
The president was in Nakuru just the other day, right? He was staying at State House Nakuru.
Yes.
He held meetings in Nakuru. You're a leader of Nakuru. You campaigned with the president. He nominated you to be a CAS. That means you have rapport.
Yes.
Call him.
Yes.
Have you called him?
Well, I've called him.
And?
I don't want to be in the media talking about my discussion with my president, but I know I'm trying what I can even now. Even when I move from here, there are things I'm trying to communicate with him, even his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua. We are talking.
So clearly,
yes,
these top national leaders can already see what's happening in Nakuru.
Yes.
They can hear the rumblings around Nakuru.
Yes.
They are aware of what's happening in Nakuru.
Yes.
Is there a reason why they're not doing anything yet?
Well, you know, I will say something. I don't know how to explain it with the English, but you are Kikuyu, you can understand. Ukitaka kutoa mwiba, wacha uive kidogo utoe na uzaa yake yote. So we are waiting maybe.
You what it can do?
I think so.
Thorn, wait for the pass, pull it out.
Press it. It will come out with a...
Plus the head.
Yes, it will come out. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they are waiting for that. And they are waiting for also because of democracy, of freedom of discussion, freedom of the governor, freedom of the MCAs, freedom of MPs. Maybe they have been waiting not to be seen interfering, but now I think we have reached somewhere. They need to intervene. The deputy president, I know, is on it. The president is on it. We have been doing some discussion, and we are hoping, and I want to promise the people of Nakuru, things are going to be better. In the end of the tunnel, we must have hope.
So they're waiting for you local leaders to solve the issue. And if you don't solve, then they come and intervene.
They come and help us.
So if you ever see the deputy president or the president intervening, we know that you have failed.
That is true. I agree.
Why would you fail?
I'll feel bad, but I have no choice, because if I cannot put impact of putting together, then the father comes. You are married. You have a mama here. You, when you are in the house, there are things you do in the house, and mama will deal with it.
Yep.
And if mama ikishinda mama, you tell them in the evening, and you tell the children, I'm going to accuse you. I'm going to accuse you to your father. Then when the father will come, they will have a discussion and say, hii watoto sasa mimi kama mama wamenishinda. You need to whip. The whip. It's just the same procedure, and we are hoping for the best. If you hear anybody telling you there's no hope anywhere, that's not a Christianity. We know there's hope. Even things when they are bad, we trust in God, because it's not even us. It's not even the president, but God is also seeing what we are discussing. He is seeing what we are going through. And I know many Kenyans, they are praying for us. Even the people of Nakuru, I know they are praying for that. And my brother here, he will come one day and he will be happy with our Nakuru being a good city, and he will enjoy being that city. And let me tell you the importance of Nakuru. You know, I have discovered any civil servant who have passed in Nakuru, or a resident of Nakuru, maybe some years like him, they invest in Nakuru. If you go like Lanet, in my constituency, Bahati, all head of civil servant, all the retirees from army, all of them, they invested there. You know, before you go western, you can stop in Nakuru. Before you come from Nairobi, you can stop in Nakuru. It's a good place, and we are happy. We don't miss food. Maybe some areas, but like in Bahati, you can't miss something to eat.
Cannot lack anything. I mean,
yes, that's good.
It's a country of plenty.
Yes, of plenty.
And so a lot should be happening.
But the problem is
in
peace.
fact, you should be raising about 5 billion shillings a year, not arguing about 3.6 and 1.6. It should be much more. Kimani Kujiri, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. Next time.
Thank you. Anytime I'm there, mimi mzee. Nimebakisha mambo mawili peke yake. To talk the truth and to arrange to go in heaven. Wow. Just two things. So I have to talk the truth all the time. Nashukuru sana.
Asante.
And we want the government to succeed. We want the country to succeed. But we must succeed, all of us, when we work together. Even that issue I've talked of, Egerton, industrial park, nobody can